step into the lab, lights hum like a starship dock. Pine logs stacked like data banks in a cube block. I calibrate climates while the timeline bends, writing fungal code loops only my psyllium sends. I navigate ecosystems with instinctive precision. Every egg a plate a portal to a parallel vision. Menaships spin up like reactors at dawn. You want a culture revolution, then you better respond. We fracture the boundaries of the natural order, make Reishi bloom sideways like a space-time border. I'm an Appalachian alchemist, wild ridge born, with a druid's intuition and a mind full of spores.
Keep spawning culture.
We're the network underfoot, the unseen sculpture.
Keep spawning culture.
Hello. Sorry guys, it's been a busy day over here, so I'm like a minute late. And if you will pardon me for just a moment, I have a couple of things that I need to look at real quick. So 1 second, I apologize again. It's spring, and spring has sprung, and it's crazy. Hold on. Sorry. Stream till PM. But my wife take you if you come by. Cool. Thank you guys for being patient. It is crazy time of year. Dish Power Sync, I just saw your message, bud. Yeah, Samantha's been, we've been just waiting on a bioreactor to grow out, so you've got your stuff going out. Oh no, my Facebook stream is not working, so hold on. Continue as Andrew. All right. Go live. So I should be going live. All right. So we should be live on Facebook. We should be live on YouTube. We started selling plants, so we've actually got people arriving later than I meant to. So I'm going to have to figure out how that works from now on. But it's all chaos. Spring is chaos. What's up, Dustin? Well, nice synchronicity sending me a message that you guys are live. I just said I'd love to reach out and see how y'all have been. Last live, it seemed like a paid class. I accidentally jumped in. I don't know when that would have been. Maybe if it was on a Saturday, it was a paid class, and I wouldn't know. I don't know how you would get the link to that. What's up, Exception? Glad to have you on. He says hello to D. Waller. I'll catch up with y'all later. Busy day in the lab. Want to stop by and say what up. Glad to have you, Micro Nerd. I wish you'd stick around, bud. I feel like you don't even want to see me no more. What's up, Dish? Oh yeah. I've already talked to you. All right. Sweet. Thanks for getting back to me. Absolutely, man. That's what these Q&As are for, is so people have access to me, because everything else always has the possibility of slipping through the cracks. Real quick, for those of you guys who are signed up for the Cordyceps class, I think that we are actually, I'm talking to somebody right now. It looks like we'll be pushing the class back not till this Saturday, but the next Saturday. I forgot that I was putting it right next to Easter. A lot of people are eating for Easter with their families. So that's my bad. We're going to push it back a week, but that also means that we're going to free up space and get into the timeline of a guest teacher. So we'll be able to, I'll teach. I've got to talk to him about the timing, but it looks like we're gonna be able to have somebody come in and who has not as much mushroom experience as I have, but way more Cordyceps experience than I have, to come in and help teach the Cordyceps class. And I'm very excited about that. This is my first attempt at doing a guest speakership on our live classes. And I'm pretty excited about it, because this whole collaboration thing is something I'm trying to work on and do with everybody. So we might set up. Hey, Samantha got me a Coca-Cola. Oh my gosh, she got me a 24 ounce. That's way too much. So I get my sweet thing for the stream. All right. So we're going to have, goodness, actually, I mean, just the garden in the last week. I know we did a garden stream last week. I should probably just take you guys out there again. The grow room is being planted for the CSA. We got a lot of our like water spinaches and stuff out growing. We're selling duck potato plants. We've got all kinds of stuff coming out. So, hey, baby, we might have somebody else swinging by this evening for the duck potatoes. Um, did you know the prices yet? It is it's $8 for one. She said keep the change. Okay, I've had $2 we could give her back. That's Knox Foodie. Oh dang, that's not who I thought it was. When I was like, dang, she didn't even call, and I told her to call. That was somebody completely different. I was looking at it, so we actually may have two people that may be coming by this evening for the. Well, that's what I was telling people. It's like spring chaos here. It's just pure chaos. Um, so I think I'm gonna grab a cigar and I'm gonna head out to the garden and walk people around a little bit to show some more. But like I said, we might have somebody coming by, and then it is 5:08. You gotta go pick up Aislinn. What time are you supposed to pick her up? 5 o'clock. Oh no, then you're fine. She always likes to hang out with her friends, anyways. All right, be careful. I love you. Bye bye. Yeah, Waller, Dustin, you've missed the garden streams, man. Last two times I think I've gone out in the evening. It's so nice, and even with what's cool is with the streaming software, I figured out how to stream from the phone, from the laptop, from the desktop. It's actually kind of nice for the classes because I'm able to show stuff through the microscope and whatnot. And so yeah, like I'll probably head out there with a cigar, my Coca-Cola, and we'll just sit down and have a nice chill Q&A evening. I wouldn't mind doing it in the lab so much, except it's loud. It's just loud in the lab, and so I'm always having to like yell over it. So, but you all right? You calling your phone? You are the losingest thing. You're the what? You just win some things and lose others. I meant, yeah. I'll be quiet. You're very welcome. Look at that. Hey, Aussie, 1970. I finally made it. It's hard with the time. I believe it, man. I've been trying to think of what would be a good time for people, because this also is a bad time kind of for a lot of my West Coast guys, right? But I also don't want to be up till midnight. So, I mean, that said, maybe I could go back to second shift hours. I used to love second shift hours, so I don't know. That might be a good way to go, and that might be kind of a good in between. It'd probably be your morning, but it would be other people's evenings. So I just left a wholesale nursery company and debated on having the time to transition to the mushroom, and 100% since my permaculture orchard is year 3. Very cool, man. Very cool. I'll show you mine. So I've got some permaculture concepts going on in my garden, but it's much more modular, a little more industrial permaculture. Permaculture industrial. Oh. Ha. Okay, it's a balloon. No, man. Thought about visiting y'all and giving you my input too anytime. Absolutely, man. Come on up. You're always welcome. You got let me know you're coming though, because I've got classes that I'm teaching. I've got festivals that I'm going to. We've got the plant nursery going, so that takes a lot. Which, I mean, that wouldn't be a problem. You could be here during all that. We've got the CSA going, so there's a lot of stuff, irons in the fire. So if you come up, just make sure you set it up with me so I know that I've got time carved out for you. I've had a lot of people coming and visiting me lately. Even someone from NAMA came and visited, and someone doing some micro remediation. Guy with the coolest last name ever, Ravage, which was super cool. But I've had a lot of people coming and visiting and dropping in, not realizing that this isn't a shop so much as it is a farm and suppliers. So we don't have like a shop where people can come in, and we don't have business hours. We have by appointment only. And so, I mean, I might not even be here when people show up, or I'm literally into something else that I've scheduled. So, yeah, I mean, be super cool, man, to have you up though. Mr. Tim Bobway, working on building that easy Bubba barrel you suggested. That's not a Bubba barrel. It's an easy bake barrel. The Bubba barrel is a specific product from Bubba's Barrels, I think, up in Knoxville, Tennessee. But yeah, the easy bake barrel. I'm glad that you saw that. That's a fantastic home brewed way to go. I'm not a big fan of the Bubba's Barrels, actually. I know there's a lot of people that like them. I'm not exactly against them or anything, and I don't have a ton of experience with them. But I know a lot of farms that have them, and they don't like the float valves and whatnot. Most people I know that are have tried the Bubba's Barrels have switched over now to easy bake barrels or trough steamers. But easy bakes when they're indoors, troughs usually when they're outdoors. So though I did see one trough steamer indoors in Colorado when I did a consult out in Eagle Vale, Westvale, yeah, and they had a trough set up, and they went and got a shower liner from Lowe's and just cut it to fit. And I didn't see a single bit of leak in that. That was probably the most impressive trough steamer. They did have a bulkhead through it with a piece of PEX going through it so they could vent the steam. And that seemed to work really, really well. Normally at work here, but it's Good Friday. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like my class, I've got my class for Saturday. And I guess it's not Good Friday here yet, but it will be tomorrow morning. But yeah, I was like, oh crap, I put my class Saturday. Like I can't believe I did that. I thought that I double checked everything. So who knows? I probably thought I was like, it'll be fine. It's Saturday, but people spend a lot of time with their families on. So sounds great. I've just got some IP I trust you with. I know we'll work in my climate at least. Yeah, let's just do it, man. If you got intellectual property you want to share with me, I'm happy to sign, not non-competes. Oh my gosh. NDAs. Non-disclosure. If you want to just trust my word, I'm happy to have you trust my word. It's whatever you want to do. I do try to make it a point not to share other people's information without permission. If people give me permission or they've already publicly, shared it, then usually I'll feel free to share it. But hi, Andrew. Jim from Southwest Virginia. Just inoculated my sawdust blocks with your King Blue and Rocky Top. Looking forward to seeing them fruit. Thank you. Well, I'd be very interested in seeing them fruit. So feel free to send any photos to mosscreekmushrooms@gmail.com. I would love to see what your setup is and how that's looking. I'd love to see how both of those do in your grow room. I'm always happy to see even the ugly babies. Even the ugly babies. Send me the photos. I love seeing my strains and how they perform in other people's grow rooms. It's informative for me, but it also is just cathartic. So tell you what, guys, let me grab a cigar and my lighter, and we'll get set up outside in the garden. And we'll do an outdoor stream in the shade. I do have somebody to come in and pick up plants. And I hope Samantha will be back before then. If not, maybe we'll just do a stream where I'll point and you guys can see me go over there and talk to them. Man, these water gardens are something else. It's really working into something else. So, all right. Let me put a sponsor on real quick. That'll give you a chance to go pee, grab the computer, and go outside. So we'll get that all set up. I'll be right back, folks. Imagine a world where the most unique, rare, and powerful mushroom strains are preserved, studied, and shared with growers like you. That's exactly what we're building with the Microsium. A living archive of fungal biodiversity, sourced from the wild, expanded in the lab, and made available for researchers, growers, and curious minds alike. But here's the best part. You can be a part of it. If you're a bioprospector, a forager, or just someone who loves finding cool mushrooms in the wild, you can send in your samples. If you send me in a wild mushroom, and I can successfully clone it, I'll send you back a cleaned up culture of it. If you send me a culture that you've already cleaned up yourself, I'll send you one for our library, ready to grow, experiment with, or add to your collection. That's right. Culture for culture. You help expand the library, and you get something amazing in return. The goal? To preserve fungal diversity, to give people access to new genetics, and maybe, just maybe, to discover something truly groundbreaking. So if you've got an interesting mushroom, a rare find, or a strain that deserves a place in the archives, send it in. Let's build something incredible together. The Microsium, preserving fungal biodiversity, one culture at a time. Want to learn more? Hit us up, shoot us a message, and let's keep spawning culture, y'all. All right. Let's check. Sound check. Cool. So we're out here in the garden. You can see the water tubs and all the plant trays back there. So, all right. What is the difference between an easy bake barrel and a Bubba's barrel? I thought they were the same thing, but one is DIY and the other is yeah. So a Bubba's barrel is a product that's made out here in Knoxville, actually. They have refill valves, and they have venting situation set up to where they can vent out. A lot of people use them indoors. The biggest problem I've seen is that they flood. So the way a lot of people got around this was to build a easy bake barrel, which is literally just a heating element, a water reservoir, and it's capped off so that it never has water evaporation to deal with, and it just recycles. It's very low power, and it just kind of runs the whole time at like 1,500 kilowatts, and 1,500 watts, right? Anyways, 1.5 kilowatts is what I mean, and it'll just recycle the water, and it just stays hot. So it's kind of like the easy bake ovens is kind of the idea, is that it's easy, safe, and low power, versus a Bubba's barrel, which I think are 9 kilowatts. I could be wrong about that. Like an easy bake, you can typically run on a 15 amp circuit, a 120 volt, versus, it might rain on us. If it does, I'll have to go up on the porch. But yeah, the easy. Could have sworn I just heard a dog. The easy bakes are nice and low power, and I know people that run them on the 15 amp circuits, and it just has that single element in it. So that's the biggest difference, is in their power. And an easy bake won't do as much at a time as a Bubba's barrel. But Bubba's barrels don't actually do that much either at the same time. They're not really much better than an autoclave, and they're not really much cheaper than an autoclave at this point. And they run the risk of flooding. And so the Bubba's barrels are just, I don't know, they're about one of my least favorite solutions for the mushroom setup. Man, I wish it was warm here. We have had a few warmer days here north of Detroit, but it's only around 45 degrees. It wants to be spring, but it's not sprung. Man, it's going crazy right now. I'll take you guys. Actually, we'll just go ahead and go now. I'll take you around the garden, and just remember that when I'm on the cell phone, I can't see your all's chats as easily. It is starting to rain. It's only going to be a quick little rain, though, so it's not a big deal. If it starts really coming down, I'll just move under the overhang here. Let me get in the studio. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're gonna have to move. I can't have this laptop getting rained on. In fact, it's raining hard enough now. We'll just wait for the rain to pass. Then I'm going to take you guys around the garden. For now, I'm going to sit on the dock. And we'll just sit on the dock out of the rain. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's coming rain down, but it's super sunshiny right there. So this is one of those regular East Tennessee rains that we get in our spring and summer. It'll just be like a rain. It'll rain a little bit, and then it just goes away, leaving the world super muggy and humid and perfect, if you're an amphibian. So but yeah, it's definitely gotten warm here. The grow room is not very impressive right now. It's mostly been pulled apart. I'm installing a new humidity system in there, and I'm going with a low pressure humidity system just to play around with it. I want to take some footage of it. It's the one that I have as an emergency backup. So I'll be going back to the Sonic after a while, but I want to get some footage of a low pressure misting system and how easy it is with a Inkbird humidistat and a solar powered valve. And I think that's going to be pretty neat. I do have to splice the wire on the solar or on the from the panel to the battery, but just because I got to lengthen the cord. But yeah, the rain's already starting to slack off a little bit. You can see my plants, exception, are already getting big, a lot of them, and they are really starting to put on some greenery and looking really quite nice. So, hey guys. So, Sam? Yeah. As soon as this is up a little bit, I'll take you around and actually show you everything. But next week, I hope that the grow room will be in a much more impressive condition to show you guys. Someone said they're going to be here in 20 minutes. They said like 10 minutes ago to get plants. So, yeah. You know what? Let me look up the number because that would be good if you can go ahead and dig them up. And there's a front bin that's got a bunch of big ones that aren't mucky. And you can take those and bag them up and they won't be stinky. Let's see. Yeah, he didn't say. What's up, Sarah McLucky? I haven't seen your face in a bit. Hope things are going well with you. Oh, I like your husband's hat there. See, that's permaculture as hell. I don't use that term much anymore either, but you're living it. I appreciate that. So I love permaculture. I'm in love with permaculture the way Dave Holmgren and Bill Mollison did permaculture. And yeah, I don't know, like there is a lot of stuff that we're definitely trying to put as much stuff on solar as we possibly can. Do what? Yeah, I wouldn't either. What did you give? What did you give hers that plant in?
That styrofoam container, the fish cannon.
Oh, okay. I was just going to use a unicorn bag.
Okay, I'll leave that next time.
Okay. You don't be sorry. You're fine. Well, I'll tell you what, instead of smoking the cigar up, we'll just go ahead and go look. Because the rain has decided to basically go away. I got everything bubbling. Okay. Test. Okay, I can see it's working. Excellent. All right. So we're going to go here and look around. I got a little worm tower here. I put just aquatic vegetation. So anytime I'm working here in the garden, I'll take, like the worms, like the earthworms love algae. And so you can take that algae and just throw it in the worm tower, which you'd want to throw it down in the bottom. Here, I can show you guys. Sorry about that. I had a wasp fly in my face, like it head butted me. So there's the worm bin. And what I would do is just take, I really need the tripod for this. You can take like duckweed, things like that. And the worms love the aquatic vegetation. They also love the mushroom sub. We've got like terrestrial shallow trays here. So Samantha's got a really nice columbine that's growing there. It's a native columbine. We've got a muck, which will be for our shade tolerant flowers. And you can see it's producing methane right now. So you can see the bubbles coming up. You really have to have swamp loving plants, marshy loving plants that are adapted to that deep muck layer to grow in something like that. And then we've got shallower trays. This water's pretty dark right now. I added some leachate just today, but it helps turn this water into green water. These two don't have fish in them yet, but this one's got some rice fish in it that I'm trying to breed. Here we've got, there's a bunch of sarasas and comet goldfish in here. And this is a nice dark water. We put logs in the bottom, and it gives us that kind of tea stain color, high tannin water. And most of that is, like, there's myceliated logs in there. This is all spent mushroom substrate here. You can still see some of the oats and stuff in it. Camera's reversed. And this is a flow-through tray. I have water that constantly comes in from the bottom of this tank and flows through. And then we have, these are actually just loofahs. That's literally just the loofah gourd. And this is watercress, and I've got some Vietnamese, cilantro, water spinach, corkscrew rush, and some other things. These trays are my propagation trays. They do really, really well for anything that's recovering from shipment in, that is really just needing to propagate, to needs a little extra love and attention. These trays are like basically the recovery trays. The maternity ward, maybe you could say. And then we get a lot of these floating planters laying around just in different tanks. There we go, right there. We do these as well. Oh, how you doing? Doing well. You here to pick up some duck potatoes? I'll be all right. Samantha's going to take care of you. So we do, these are pepino melons, huckleberry, garden huckleberries, but this is one of my favorite things. This is all spent mushroom substrate. And you can just see when I pull that across, there are just worms everywhere. I showed this last stream too. This is mostly for Dustin since he missed it last time. But like if I just grab a handful, you'll never have to buy bait again. So we also have these, I call these my artificial chinampa gardens, or chinampas. You know, we get these felt bags, and then we allow them to be up way above the surface. So this is sweet flag. Basically think it tastes like ginger, the roots do. And I've got some
peppers. These will be for tomatoes, the big ones. I've still got to put out tons more pallets and trays, water beds, and everything. We do mints and figs. And then this is all just aquatic vegetation. So like this is from duck potatoes. This is from water chestnuts. That all gets added as mulch. And then this is all spent mushroom substrate under here. And it just turns a deep, dark, loamy black. Pineapple sage, coffee grounds. This is a great thing. So you can already see the worms are moving under those coffee grounds. So what we'll do is I usually, after Samantha throws coffee grounds out here, I just bury them, filter and all. And the worms absolutely love it. These two beds right here are also duck potatoes, just so you know. So like that's all, they grow in that muck. They'll grow in muck or water, huh? Yeah, just the habitat. All this right here is cattails. So this is actually what baby cattails look like. And we'll grow, we got cattails in this one. We got water chestnuts that we'll be doing in this one. We're doing the big bags for tomatoes. So we'll have about 10 pallets of 20 tomato plants for the CSA. Peppers, I can fit 6 of them to a pallet because each one of them will take up a bag. And then, let's see, what else? I was going to show you guys Samantha's columbine. And yeah, when I get back, if you guys have questions, be typing them up and I'll answer them rapid fire when I get back to the table. So this is, yeah, Samantha's native columbine. It's got a bunch of babies down here as well. This is one of my mint patches. We have mint and sedums, and these are some special irises that people gave us. The irises really seem to like the shallow tubs. I do lotuses. I got about 200 lotuses seeds that I'm sprouting right now, germinating. And we've gotten really good at germinating them. I'll take you over to show you the leachate tubs. This right here is bloody duck. And it has like a lemon flavor to it. Like a lemon spinach. Bloody duck's one of my favorite greens. We've got spent substrate here. We sell that. We use it. We use it in a variety of ways. Grow insects, fish food, bugs, all kinds of stuff. This is a leachate tray. That's from the concrete guys. Here's the leachate tray as well. And you can see it's dripping. And what that is this whole IBC tote is just chock full of mushroom substrate, food scraps, and other things. Let's see if I can get up here. So this thing was piled up really high, like it was up to here, and now it's rotted down. And we just let it keep rotting down. I throw some brown vegetation to keep like raccoons and stuff out of it. This is all a sweet potato vine we grew last year. And the black soldier fly larvae go absolutely insane in here. And then as it rains, water comes in and it just drips out. This leachate, I take maybe 500 to 1,000 milliliters of it, and I'll put it in those tubs. And those tubs, like I'll take that like 1,000 milliliters or 1 liter flask, fill it full of that leachate, and split it between the 3 tubs. And when I do, it ends up being it turns green really fast. It feeds that algae. Algae loves that leachate. These are from the local distillery, and this is where the tilapia babies are going when they get big enough to come out of the hatchery. They'll get a little extra protein. Oh, that looks like an ant queen. It must mean their nuptial flights are going on. Here we have pickerel rush. water lily, water irises. This is all duck potato, a little bit of iris. Fish mint, sweet flag that needs to be repotted, irises. So I'm gonna head back to the computer and you guys see what questions you guys have posted while I've been doing this. But real quick, show you guys this is all spent mushroom substrate, charcoal bits from my charcoal kiln. And that charcoal breaks down. Now this is hot, like this is hot to the touch where it's rotting. And it's got, like, you get down, it's got an active compost smell to it. But then as that breaks down by May, this will all be ready for stuff. Right there is what it all breaks down to. What is it? Duckweed's not native. It's naturalized at this point. It's like in all the waterways. So it's you basically can't get away from it these days around here. Like I went to Buffalo Springs to do some trout fishing the other day, and I noticed in every little eddy there was duckweed. So, and it froze last year, and then it's like as soon as it warmed up, it just floated right back up. That's parrot's feather. I don't actually know if that's native or not. When we pulled it out of the creek, that's where we got it. Yeah, we pulled it out and started growing it. And we've got native plants coming in, and we're gonna have a native section where we will only have native plants, but I haven't set that up yet.
What else do you have that's native?
Bloody duck.
This one?
Yeah, this one. That's bloody duck. So I've got some smaller ones. The bigger ones we're using for the CSA, but
That also grows in a bog.
I think it's native. It definitely grows in a bog. That may be a European, but it's been here for hundreds of years at this point. But bloody duck, like we find it down in the creek beds and stuff all the time. The main thing that we got native coming is mostly not the food plants, but the flowers.
This one is bloody.
Dock, also known as sorrel, red vein sorrel.
Okay.
But it loves mucky conditions. In fact, I'm a little worried with it being that much taller. Normally, like last year, I had it planted down in the muck, and now it's up taller than the actual water line.
That's the world line says it's from Europe.
That is from Europe. Okay, that's why I knew it was a naturalized or native, but I didn't know if it was a true native or not. But yeah, we'll have the native shipment doesn't come in until I know duck potato's native. I don't think parrot's feather is.
No,
Okay, and then I have native irises coming, but they won't be here till a couple weeks from now at the very least. So yeah, we'll have. Where's that? Oh, the columbine. Yeah, that's a native columbine. Yeah, she got real big into the native columbines. So, but yeah, she's wanting me to do. She's the one to, like, I like to grow everything, and she's like, you need to do a native section. So, okay, you want to do like a native patch?
Trying to build a whole thing.
Oh dang! Well, I have water, like the aquatic cardinals coming in. Aquatic, like I've got native irises, a bunch of stuff. So we'll have a ton of it. Yeah, man. And then let's see. This is one I'm really proud of, actually. This is a purple plantain. I use plantain a lot for herbalism and stuff, and this is turned out to be, I don't know, just a really neat one. I didn't even know there was a purple plantain. We just made it through that celery away, and I just threw it in there to root, and all of a sudden it's put on a ton of growth. All right, I'm heading back to the computer. Answer y'all's questions. Yeah, we'll go to the computer. Oh, all right. Alrighty, guys. I'll get back to the questions. Very nice. Is your weather fitting for growing cannabis outdoors in the summer? Yes. Yeah, that's actually a big thing. People find it on their property and stuff all the time where there's guerrilla plantings. We can't do it here legally. It's still very, very illegal to grow it here. But people grow hemp, and Delta 8 variety, I believe, and stuff like that. What's up, Alchemy? Glad to have you on here. What's asking for a friend? Oh, no, a guy in glasses told me to ask that question. Glasses, huh? It'd be hilarious if someone actually did was right there with you that wasn't glasses. I told you to ask. Even if it was just in jest. Was he driving a black Suburban? How do you know? Man, you guys have been all talking about this. I was talking to his buddy on a walkie-talkie. Oh, I see the direction it's going. Okay, missed the last one, but I made this one. I'm glad to have you, man. Very glad to have you here. So we do rewriting the textbook on permaculture. Maybe we'll see. Again, like it's I'm doing a lot of this stuff. A lot of this is solar powered and everything, and we're going to expand the heck out of it. But I still don't know that I would call it. I don't know that I'd call it permaculture, right? At least a lot of people wouldn't call it permaculture. I've not had cattails fried. I've had them roasted. I've had them grilled. I like to go like right about now is the time to get the shoots. So I gotta go do some digging out in the swamp, or the marsh. But you take them and just cut them, throw them right in the canoe on some canvas. Wet canvas is the best, and leave them in the shuck, I guess is what we would call it. That's what I call it. And then you can throw them whole on the smoker or the grill. You can even put a little lemon pepper inside the shuck there or something like that, and it's really good stuff. Oh man, after that rain, the purple martins are out right now, and they live in the trailer actually that Ben and them store stuff in, and they've got a whole colony in there now. Do you think the trapdoor method could work as a standard procedure with all agar transfers? Why not just do it every time with LC, grain to agar, agar to agar, et cetera, et cetera? Well, I'm not sure how you would do the trapdoor as far as, you said grain to agar, not agar to grain. I mean, you can absolutely do that if you wanted to, but it's just time intensive. And, if you're only doing one or two transfers or just a few or something like that, it's not really a big deal. But when you're going to be doing a lot of plate work or something like that, you want to, like, I've even gone down to, instead of doing a square cut, I do a triangle cut because it knocks off one cut per plate. So if I'm doing 10 plates, I've reduced my load by 10 cuts. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you start doing more and more and more and more, it adds up big time. Native to Tennessee, yeah, like a lot of the stuff that we've got's just been we've pulled from the creeks and started growing, or we started getting seeds or stuff. Like we've got watercress. That's actually a strain that I pulled out of one of the local springs here and started saving the seeds for. So I've got to do a whole native section. I'm not a huge like natives only guy, so it doesn't. Like I like it. I like the idea of it, but I just don't really do it. A lot of the useful plants that I have are, from Asia, South America, that kind of stuff. So I don't actually know a ton of them. Now I do keep up with not really like this stuff that's like super invasive, stuff that's not naturalized. I do have that stuff like we got some horsetail and things like that. We try to put that aside so that it doesn't take over somewhere. It is Bloody Dock, D-O-C-K, and it's fantastic. So it's got this lemony spinach flavor to it, and it is just absolutely. It's not even intense flavor, but it's one of my favorite greens, and it's actually got less oxalic acids in it than It's got then like regular spinach, but we also do water spinach. I guess I should have showed you that too. That's a Kang Kong. That's from Asia, and it's a frost tender tropical. And that one is really, really good too. And if you look it up, it'll say, be warned, it's got oxalic acid in it. But what's funny is that all these aquatics that have oxalic acid, you're supposed to stay away from them. They have less oxalic acid than regular spinach, especially baby spinach. Baby spinach has got a lot of oxalic acid in it. For those of you who don't know, oxalic acid can cause kidney stones or can increase the kidney stones. I want to get some lemon spinach and lime basil going this year. That sounds fantastic. We got an ant on my glasses. We got basil. We got lemon basil. That's one that I really want to do. I didn't get lime basil this year, and I stayed away from cinnamon basil. So we're doing purple Genovese basil and lemon basil. And we're going to be probably growing quite a bit of that in the flow-through trays. I've actually got each one of these black tanks is going to have plant flow-through trays on top as well. But where did you get those containers? I've been looking for some HD containers. Not the IBCs, but the large black ones. The large black ones I get from Tractor Supply. It's not as cheap as an IBC tote, but they hold up for years. Like the one that I've got, right here. That one I've had for like 5 years, and it's not deteriorated at all. Whereas IBC totes get brittle after like a year or two, and so they end up being not my favorite way because they cost about, right now I can get IBC totes turned into fish tanks and plant trays for about 44 cents a gallon. These black tubs I can get, they're 300-gallon tubs, and it cost me about $250, which is 88 cents a gallon. So it's like twice as expensive as an IBC tote, but it lasts 5 years, so it's actually in the long run a lot cheaper. And I like that. Man, why does my mustache look so red? I need to get out in the natural light more often. Intermediate bulk container are standardized reusable containers designed for the safe storage and transport of bulk liquids, powders, and granulated. Yeah, they're fantastic. The IBCs are fantastic, but they really should be indoors. I don't like the outdoor ones that much, but they're food safe at least. And the tilapia are mostly going to be in these black tubs, I think. I was planning on doing the IBC totes there, but I might just do my ornamentals in the IBCs since they do get brittle. Isn't plantain and seed and husk the same as psyllium fiber supplement? I don't know, Hendrix. That would be a new one to me. We could look that up real quick because that's an interesting question. Is plantain seed? Or wait a minute. And husk. Oh, so that may be you're thinking of plantain the fruit. This is plantain the herb. So I don't think it has a husk, does it? Are you thinking plantain the fruit? Am I wrong? Let's see. So, plantain seed. Let's see. Yeah, psyllium is a type of plantain seed. Oh, no, it is the herb. Especially derived from the husk of Plantago avatum. While all psyllium comes from plantain plants, not all plantain seeds are the commercial psyllium husk found in stores. They share similar mucilaginous, high fiber, and laxative properties. Interesting. I did not know that. I did not know that was the same. Plantago avata. Very good. Thank you for teaching me something, Hendrix. I think you mentioned that you lived in Missouri. No, Tennessee. Same thing. In Germany, we're now allowed to grow 3 plants indoor, outdoor. There's still hope that the federal, state, and the U.S. becomes a bit smarter about it. People hope so, but we'll see. I'm very anarchist, libertarian. I don't know where I fall exactly politically, but I would rather people just be able to do what they want to do as long as they're not hurting other people. Germany is very conservative in these things usually. Yeah, so we actually had a student come in from Germany and take our mentorship. She stayed with us for a few days, and she was talking about, like, even growing tomatoes. They have to conform to a certain tomato variety. Like, we can just grow any tomato we want. If I want to create a new type of tomato, I can grow it, and I can sell it. But apparently, she was saying in Germany there was a lot of rules, agriculturally speaking, that made things super difficult to do things. Oh yeah, also Guten Tag, sir. Guten Tag, Herr. I don't remember. What is something you do regarding mushroom cultivation that you do not see others doing? Like anything with agar, pasteurizing. So, thanks for all the info on grow mushrooms. Absolutely, Christo. I mean, my biggest difference, I feel like, is that I tend to focus on the spent substrate more than the actual mushrooms themselves. Like, I have been a proponent for a very long time that the real value of these mushroom farms is not even the mushrooms, but rather the fact that you get paid to get a soil amendment, that you get paid to produce better and better soil with higher and higher organic matter. That's probably the biggest thing. Now, if you want like that specifically to mushroom cultivation, then I do differently, which is what you asked. I realized that I answered the wrong question first. But as far as that goes, I do a lot less labor than a lot of people, which is why I'm able to do so many different things. We're able to produce a lot more with very little labor. So we make great use of peristaltic pumps. I pay very close attention to the nutritional quality of the food that my fungus is getting. So we do probably a little bit more expensive agar nutrient mixes, liquid culture nutrient mixes, and even our block mixes, being whole oats instead of soy hulls, is a higher nutrition. So that's some of the things, is that a lot of people don't focus on fungal nutrition. They just focus on what can grow them biomass. And we try to make things, the whole point of growing livestock, whether that's microbial, animal, plant, whatever, is that the livestock is able to do the vast majority of the work for you, right? So having anemic mushrooms that you have to baby, or anemic fungus that you've got to baby to get a crop, is not something that appeals to me. I'd rather pay a little bit more or design something a little bit more that is a better nutritional quality, have the fungus get that work, that health to do the work for me. And therefore, if something does go wrong, it's actually coming from a healthier start. So I think that we pay attention a lot more to those kinds of things. Our Dr. Solarian's Elixir of Mycelial Mastery, which is our LC premix, our Spore Kindler formula, which is our agar premix, it's really carefully crafted to do, like we sell that stuff because it's the same stuff we use here. And I think that we pay a lot more attention to that. And part of that may become, I like to blame working in the hatchery early on in my biology career, because fish colors, fish health was so obviously tied to the nutritional effects that it was, or to the nutrition that it had, and it caused greater, like, the better the health, the better the coloration. It's one of the reasons why, like, clownfish will select a mate a lot of times, largely on the colors and the brightness of the colors, because that shows that he had a territory full of good food and everything that she needed to produce good young. You see this in tilapia. My tilapia that I grow tend to be far more colorful than other people's tilapia, or tilapia that you find in the grocery store, even though it's the same species. But we feed a lot of vegetarian mix. So I think that that's kind of, we look at things from a much more ecological perspective and an intermixed perspective. Like, what can we do with the waste? What kind of waste can go in to feed the mushrooms? What kind of waste can go in to feed the, what kind of byproducts can we make? Can we tie this all in together? And what gives stuff, the different organisms, the highest nutrition and the most natural diet we can give them? Because the natural diet seems to be what is best for them, as long as you just need to make sure they get more of it than they would typically get in the wild. Okay, Tennessee also seems conservative. Never mind Missouri. Yeah, we are far more conservative than Missouri, especially as far as that stuff goes. I used to joke that Tennessee, especially East Tennessee, was 20 years behind the trends in the rest of the country, which means that we could see the future, so we could prepare. That's starting to change. So many people moved here during COVID that it's a very different landscape, but it's still got very conservative roots. So I've always wanted to create a natural habitat in my yard using natives to attract wildlife. That's something that Samantha is wanting me to do. There's also a lot of native plant restoration projects going on. Samantha's got a friend who works for the University, or did work for the University of Tennessee, is now working for some sort of watershed restoration. And they're wanting native plants, and we've done so much bioprospecting that we've got so much native fungi here that we could pretty much just grow native strains, and I would never have to grow another strain bred from commercial stock again, and my stuff would probably be better than most commercial stock there is. Still need to release a lot of the wild stuff, and we're breeding strains from the wild, which is super fun. Actually, looking forward to getting back to more of that after the spring season slows down a little. But I say that to also say that I too, like, Samantha's really sold me on this native section, and especially pollinators, like to support pollinators. One of the cool things about aquatic plants is that they have this power to always have access to water, which means that they can handle heat stress a lot. They can just constantly produce flowers, and they don't have like a ton of water stress typically. So it's just I like the aquatics. Plus the aquatics, the marshland plants respond really well to the high organic matter that we get from the mushrooms. Guten Abend, that's good evening, right? Or good night. Do you use perlite for your straw substrate? I'm thinking about using straw pellets, wheat bran, and perlite for my Florida oysters, but I don't know if I'm wasteful by doing that. You really don't need perlite. If you're using straw pellets, I used to just grow on straw pellets, and you can do wheat bran. Wheat bran will be a little, it'll gum it up. The gluten in the wheat bran, when cooked, when it gets wet and it's cooked, produces a gelatinous substance. It's rendered down basically into in bread. It creates what's called I think it's called a protein coat, a gluten coat or something like that, cloak or something like that. But it's one of the reasons why the bread can rise without tearing the bread or just escaping. So when you have that and you go to shake that, it can be pretty gummy. I'm not saying don't use it. Wheat bran works great, but I would prefer using soy hulls or oat hulls or whole oats. And whole oats are more expensive. They're not much more expensive than wheat bran, though. And if you look at how many bags you can make with a 50-pound bag, even if it's like $5-6 more a bag, the ease in labor is worth it. That's one of the reasons why we always say that stuff is like free is never free. And it's because that free stuff can be, or even the cheaper stuff, it can hurt your labor. And when it comes to mushrooms or any kind of farming, labor is something that you really gotta keep a close eye on, because you can have labor creep real easy. And you can design your system. You want to design your system to produce the best offspring and organisms that you can, but it also has to serve you and your lifestyle. So you have to find some way to meet in the middle of what's the best life I can produce for this organism, what's the best organism I can produce via that system, and what is going to serve me and my family, my offspring, my young. Because the more it serves me, the more I can grow this, right? And the more I can grow this, the better off it is for the organisms in doing so. So that's kind of just how I look at stuff. I don't do additions unless it just becomes obvious that I have to do that extra thing. How are you going with your future planting ideas? I haven't been in for a while. Do you mean like the plants and stuff? We were just going through the garden a minute ago. I'll probably go through another walkthrough here in a minute, but because there's some other stuff, I'm trying to give Samantha and our customers some space. But I've got I just got word from the nursery that my plants for this nursery are coming in. They're shipping Monday. I've got a lot more felt bags and stuff. Samantha's put a lot of our mushroom substrate and stuff into. That's kind of nice that we don't have to pay for soil. Though I'm starting to worry that we might run out. And then the water, just comes out the tap and it's cheap. So that's the majority of it. But I mean, we're doing everything. I've got cattails and culinary aquatic herbs and all of that kind of stuff. So are you talking about that kind of planting, or are you talking about the mushroom specific planting? Because that, with the CSA, Samantha and I just started planting shiitake, enoki, and chestnut mushrooms. We've already got oysters coming down the pipeline. Actually, it should be. I think I need to go plant the grow room tonight. And it depends on whether Samantha planted the grow room yesterday or not. I've got oysters, lion's mane, and then as far as like the CSA goes, we've got we're doing microgreens, mushrooms, aquatic vegetables, aquatic culinary herbs, tomatoes, basil, peppers, all kinds of stuff. So we're doing quite the mix this year. The parking lot's going to be pretty full. Christo says, I see so much potential in the spent substrate as well. Is there anything you have to do with the spent substrate for it to be ready to use compost? Also, have you heard of Jean Pain compost heating? I've not heard of that specific term. I have seen some methods of heating. I've seen people build mushroom substrate pasteurizers using a copper coil that was in. They made a big copper coil, and then they would straight up just throw blocks into the coil and mound it over, and it would get water so hot that steam would come out the other end. So I've seen methods like that, but I don't know that name in particular. And then as far as getting it ready for compost, you can just throw it all in a pile. There's leftover nitrogen. If you're flushing it twice, maybe a third time, there's plenty of leftover nitrogen in there. It really just needs more water, which it'll get through rain. But you also, it kind of depends on how you're growing it. This is one of the reasons why we're going into aquatic plants so heavily, the marshland plants, is because the marshland plants like a mix of high organic matter, stuff that is slowly rotting down, which means that we can take spent substrate, put a couple blocks in a bin, crush them, top them up with water, throw a couple of aquatic plants in there, don't even plant them, just toss them in. They'll right themselves, root themselves, everything. And then they just start dividing, and they fill that whole tub up with roots, which actually helps break up the substrate matter even further. They feed on it, they pull carbon out of the air, and then they deposit all that carbon back in the thing when the vegetation dies back. And you can choose to move that or let that build up more organic matter. What we've been doing is just allow it to build up more and more organic matter, plant plants in it over and over again until it basically starts to get full of roots. And then you can take that, pull it out, it'll be a solid mass of roots and substrate, and you can take a hori-hori or a garden saw or trowel that's got a serrated blade, and you can just cut that into squares or little chunks and then toss them into other bins, and they'll just keep growing. And so this becomes like a self-feedback loop that just goes crazy. Got a little bump. Just say it. All the northern folks moved to Tennessee, and it's gone in their own direction. I mean, I wasn't going to say it. It's certainly, I just heard about my first HOAs here and a bunch of other stuff, and I think those were from Florida, but there's probably some from the north too. I keep missing these with the season time change. Good to catch one. I have a few questions. Nathan, hit me with all the questions you will, please. I can see the end of the chat coming, and that always puts a thrill of fear in me, right? So hit me with all the questions you got. With the Castellani storage, I don't want to have to risk recapping the syringe because I just have a still air box. But I like your wife's idea when I asked on it a few weeks ago of injecting it into water. I got you, Plum. I'm just messing. The idea I got was inject it into a special vial made for it with a little headspace to solve the jar headspace issue. with direct capping the LC jar. I'm not sure what headspace problem there would be. You actually don't want headspace. You want as little oxygen in there as possible. Recapping the syringe is probably safer than putting it in a vial. Hold on a second. But yeah, the recapping the syringe is probably safer. If you take a little cup and have, or a little something, I don't know, like a petri dish, and you put alcohol in it, you can put your cap in that, like pull it off your syringe, put it in the alcohol, and it will most of the time be safe. But you could absolutely inject it in a vial of sterile water. That's what a lot of people do. You just want to make sure that there's very little nutrition and very little air in there. That's the biggest thing. Thanks for the insight. I thought about changing the ingredients to soy and straw pellets in the past. Thanks again. You're very welcome. And it's just because it's easier to shake. Like, that's all it is. Because otherwise it's going to feel like you're kneading dough. And if you're doing 10 bags, that's not that big of a deal. But if you're doing 120 bags, that quickly becomes a big deal. I'm not saying to not use muscles. In fact, I think that one of the most important things a mushroom farmer can do is to work out, lift weights moderate weights 3 times a week. So moderately lift, moderate weight 3 times a week. Use kettlebells because it makes your forearms nice and strong. It'll give you one hell of a grip. But it also will help protect you from carpal tunnel syndrome and things like that. So make sure you get into squats regularly and maybe sit in a squat for about 5 minutes every day, kind of stuff, so that you're used to up and down, standing, that kind of stuff. So yeah, do all that kind of stuff. I'm a big fan of that. But when it comes to work, you want work to naturally flow and be easy. You don't need to get your exercise from work. Work should be easy. Making your living should be as easy as possible. Then you can work out all you want or be as active as you want or whatnot. And so that's why I preach the way I preach on this stuff. So. That's awesome. It'll be great to see it going. I'm keen to see the veggies grown in the mushroom compost. Glad to catch you on the holiday. Absolutely, man. Hydro, I'll take you back around. If you weren't here when I did the walkthrough, give me a minute and I'll take you back through. I'll show you some of the stuff that's already growing. It's nice because we've had an early grow season. And what's really cool is where everything's on pallets. If I have to, I can easily lift it up and put it on the dock and move it indoors into the warehouse, and it'll have a layer of protection. So, like a year ago, I saw you were trying plant tissue culture. Oh yeah, I've been having really good results with plant tissue culture. And I think you had a fungus in the dish with them. I mean, occasionally I get fungus or bacteria contaminants in it, but I don't remember the specific instance you were talking about. But was this to do with PA? What is PAM? What is that acronym? Without sugar? PAM without sugar, or did you include it with sugar? So all of the tissue culture I do typically has just table sugar in it, sucrose, just regular sucrose. So that might that would be certainly why it's easier. Now, you don't have to use sucrose. If you're going to give your plants light and plenty of light, they'll grow just fine. If you do the sugar, a lot of times they'll just grow in the pretty close to near darkness. But I don't like doing it that way. I like to provide both light and sugar. And I'm doing tissue culture. I've been doing tissue culture of peppers and tomatoes just because they're easy. But I am now, I got some really good filtration equipment for filtering the hormones. So now we're about to start mass producing our plant tissue culture cups. And we're going to start working largely in aquatic plant tissue culture. I've got a contact where I can sell all the aquatic, like aquarium plants via the plant tissue culture. So we're going to go pretty hard on that because that stuff sells for like $5-6 a cup. So I was thinking about trying this. Was larger plants and tissue culture being fed CO2 just from the agar. So they were larger plants. It's probably peppers. It's probably the peppers that I had last year. For some reason, the peppers I had trouble with a couple of the varieties. There were a couple of varieties I really wanted too. But they ended up doing pretty well by the time, like, you only need 1 cup clean. So I would do like 4 or 5. And as long as you get 1 sterile cup going, after that, it's much easier to keep it going. It's the washing the plant matter or the seeds or anything like that that ends up causing trouble. Because you got to make sure that you've got it perfectly sterilized. Because 1 mold spore, 1 bacteria can, turn the whole thing. Now, if I didn't do sucrose, I bet it would probably do better, but it might hide the contamination. So I actually like the sucrose in the agar because bacteria will grow faster, which means I'm more likely to see it. And that's really important. A lot of people do a lot of things to minimize, like they'll refrigerate their agar plates. They'll do agar pre-pours, and then they'll refrigerate them. Almost every trained lab tech I've ever come across does that, and they'll be like, because it lasts longer. That should not be the case. If it's sterile, it's sterile. If it's not sterile, putting it in a refrigerator is just going to hide any contaminants that you've got. So you don't want to hide them. You don't want to slow them down. You want them to actually you want them to grow. That way you can see it and eliminate it from your supply chain. Oh, I do work out. Don't worry. Sadly, I'm also a cigar and weed enthusiast, so running is rather difficult after about 4 miles. That's better than me, man. I gas out just across the parking lot at the moment. So, absolutely. What was your name again?
Justin.
Justin. Okay.
Justin Bieber.
Did you say like Justin Bieber?
Yeah, Justin Bieber.
Oh, I thought you said Justin Bieber, and I was like, no way.
No. Very cute.
Excellent. Gotcha. That will help me, yeah, for sure.
4 things I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Ben Hardy, Justin, and
You had better write it down.
You got my.
I need to.
Yeah, you got my.
The contact. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man. Well, and we'll have plenty more stuff for you.
I'll be back.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.
Okay, have a good night.
You too. But yeah, ever since I got long COVID, I had a hard time getting back into running. But I've added running in between my sets now, and that's really helped out a lot. I've actually, the stimulus I've gotten, I just added that back in the past week, and I have never felt so hungry my entire life. I increased the amount of weight and the amount of reps, and then started adding runs across the dock and stuff, just as just to stay warm. And yeah, I feel like I've never been hungrier. But I also smoke cigars, so thankfully cigars shouldn't hurt your lungs too bad. Weed will, though. Absolutely it will. What can you substitute with wheat bran for lion's mane, or is nutrient value of wheat bran worth the cost, even if it's a bit more expensive? No, it's soy hulls, oat hulls, whole oats. All of that stuff does really, really well. Soy hulls do really well. Lion's mane will produce fairly large fruitings when you have a good amount of nitrogen in the block. Even though they're one of the few mushrooms I feel like that needs the least amount of nitrogen in the wild. And they will produce pretty decently just on like sawdust. Straw is not really a good way to grow lion's mane. We found that.
my sandwich.
You're very welcome. I've been keeping the wasps away from it.
eating all
Samantha's
day.
making a
I'm
peanut butter jelly sandwich. And how many did you get?
3.
3? Okay. How much did he pay?
Whatever you told him to. 15.
15. Okay. Yep. It's $8 a plant, 15 for 3.
Don't
40.
give me more things to remember.
Okay. Okay.
Too many side quests.
Too many side quests, Samantha says. But wheat bran is almost always the worst solution, in my opinion. Like even shiitake, if I'm growing shiitake, I'm going whole oats instead of wheat bran, because whole oats are so much easier to shake. It's so much easier to go from liquid culture to bulk, and shiitake does really well with liquid culture to bulk. So I'm doing the Florida oysters in buckets, though. I don't know if that would make a difference. It's been so long since I've done bucket grows that I really just do not remember much about that. Let me think about that for just a sec. I don't think it'll make a big difference. If we're talking wheat brand, especially, so. In the Army, we used to say, fit to fight, not fight to fit. I'll be stoked to see it. Now I'm back to work. I'll be looking to resource my tissue culture in the next year. I'll be watching your work. Yeah, man. So I won't be posting a lot of that on this channel. I'm about to start a new channel. I've actually already started it, but I haven't posted anything on it.
Don't judge me.
So we've, what? About the coffee?
The peanut butter coffee.
Peanut butter and coffee? I don't think anybody, I think they make peanut butter coffee.
The PB&J coffee.
PB&J coffee. You want me to put the camera on you while you're eating so people can see
I'm
the
hiding
chipmunk?
over here.
People can see that you're hiding over there. You stop it. You're so cute. Sorry, I got off track. The tissue culture. So I'm going to be doing another channel. I thought about doing this one, or I might rename this one from Mossy Creek Mushrooms to, whatever we're naming this ecological farming project. But Samantha's been talking to me, telling me I need to do a secondary channel for the garden and then one for the mushrooms, and separate the Patreon into 2 different tiers, and then separate.
Because I can't take everything smashed into one. It's already.
So that you can't take everything smashed into one. Sorry, well, that's going to simplify it though.
No.
And you're going to make it. It'll complicate it for me. See, we've had this fight several times.
Patreon is already confusing as all get out.
But it'll be made easier with the new tiers because we have to get rid of the old tiers.
No, when it.
Yeah, they're
when
making
it
us.
Exports.
It'll make it.
It says the old tiers.
This will.
Yes,
but this will make it easier. I promise you.
No.
I promise. I promise. Just trust me. Anyways, it'll be around. I'll make announcements, and it'll be done with in collaboration with Mossy Creek Mushrooms, so people can join it and watch it. That way we can, I guess, keep it cleaner. I guess mushrooms and ecological gardening with the Law of the Minimum Project. When you were talking about feeding your tilapia earlier, what was it you said you were going to feed them? So we've got. Was I talking about that earlier? So we've got the earthworms. So you can basically do worm balls, black soldier fly larva. That may have been the one you were thinking of. Duckweed, Java moss, any guppies that I need to cull from my guppy room. We basically feed them a very omnivorous diet. We do have pellets that we use, but my general feeding strategy, and I'm giving away some secrets here, that I probably shouldn't, but one of the big secrets is that if you take your Java moss, your duckweed, your algae, all your vegetative matter, the first feeding of the day, you drop that in, and they'll go crazy on the vegetative matter. And then after that, you can add things that you can add earthworms for the protein, but you don't want to do too much or it'll foul. Now, one of the cool things that you can do, like let's say you've got a lot of rice fish or guppies or shad or some sort of feeder fish, you can add those in at night, and they won't be enough to hurt your biological filtration, and your tilapia will just graze on them overnight, and they won't foul the tank. So when you're doing worms like black soldier fly larva or red wrigglers, you have to be really careful not to add so much that they won't eat it. They got to eat it immediately. So you can add all your plant matter in the mornings and the evenings so that they can graze all night long, all day long. And then you can add your protein. And then what you do is you watch them. And if they're still hungry, you can add a few pellets. And when they stop striking at the pellets, which is kind of nice, we'll add the plant matter first. And that plant matter, it increases the omega-3 fatty acids. The fungi gut filled, what do they call that? Gut loading. The fungi gut loaded earthworms and black soldier fly larvae. It just you'll see the colors just explode, especially on the male tilapia, but even the female tilapia will get really, really, really colorful. Man, it's such nice weather. Everybody's riding with their tops down and the motorcycles and the playing music. But yeah, so we're doing that's how we do their diet. That's how I did it the last 2 times that I've raised tilapia, and I've always had just the most I'll buy drab, regular blue tilapia, and they'll get huge swaths of red and green scales and stuff on them. They just look gorgeous. Samantha was actually trying to get me to go with the reds, but I'm having a hard time sourcing red tilapia this year. In fact, I think I'm just going with a brood colony this year because I can't find hardly anywhere to get the babies. In fact, I was supposed to get a call from the hatchery today. I don't think they ever called me. Filtering hormones is a new concept to me. Yeah, you have to basically do that because if you do, you can't cook the hormones in the autoclave. If you do, it denatures them, and they no longer provide the same result. So you got to do. Typically, it's done with a syringe filter, but I found spin filters, and spin filters just work in a centrifuge. So, and you can do 50 milliliters at a time, and you only need a drop or two per 500 milliliters. So, and then what happens after that is you can, you can store it for later usage. You have to be careful about how you store it, do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you gotta filter them to get the bacteria and mold spores out. Do you plan on setting up a swirl filter to collect the fish dookie? No, I use my plant trays to do that. So it picks it up, and the first tray is a muck tray, and the second tray is typically a charcoal bed that I just make here. I just make the charcoal here. Anytime we have a campfire waiting on the autoclave to cool or something like that, I'll just throw, just the pieces of wood. Shoot, I want to call it a cord of wood, but a cord is a measurement. Anyways, I think that the charcoal beds work really well. I'm trialing out the loofah sponges as plant media because the loofah sponges do a couple of different things. They create a habitat for bacteria, so they become bacterial filters. But they definitely, somebody just gifted us a bunch of these loofah sponges, and I'm thinking about planting them out back off the dock where we got a bunch of spilt mushroom substrate that's broken down, and just let them grow up the dock wall out back because we don't actually use that dock. And I think that'll pay dividends, I think. Sorry, somebody was staring at me, and I was just like, why are they staring at me? Probably because I'm out here on the computer. And they're probably staring at the plants.
Because all of this craziness you've created.
Because of all this craziness I've created?
Yes.
But yeah, the swirl filter is not necessary when I do it this way, because what I do is, as the muck tray builds up and fills up, I can pull my plants out of it, and then I can pull that tray, and I can dump that whole thing either into a composter or straight into one of these plant beds, and then cover it with spent mushroom substrate. The swirl filter would be cool and all. I just don't need it. The plants break down everything to a big degree, so I don't need to regularly pull like the mulm or anything like that. And I had this dream. You figured out the ratio with fungus in the dish with them to self-produce CO2. Oh, that would be really cool. That actually would be really neat. That would be one heck of a balance to strike, though. Sorry, I didn't even remember the acronym right. Photoautotrophic tissue culture. Ah, gotcha. Okay, I understand. For those who don't know, photos light, autotrophic just means like self-feeding. Basically, autotrophs are ones that collect their food from the sun. Basically, I think it could also technically be the methane eaters that live down at the deep sea vents. I think those may be autotrophs. But the idea is that they don't hunt their food. They don't really, they just. What has got you laughing like that? Did I say something?
No.
Okay. I'll let you gather yourself, woman. I had posted this above. If that Wikipedia link, it definitely got removed. It won't let you post links. It'll only I can post links in here. So, it's photoautotrophic micropropagation. So PAM, photoautotrophic. So I've not actually heard it called that before.
Hunt.
Huh?
That's why I didn't realize that. It took me 2 seconds to realize you said hunt.
It takes time to realize I said hunt
instead of hump.
instead of hump.
Oh gosh, it's horrible.
Do I need to end the stream?
No, you don't.
You sure?
Yes.
I mean, considering where your mind's at, I think I want to end the
No,
stream.
no, it's
Plum says he agrees with the secondary channel. Okay, so it sounds like a lot of people think that the secondary channel is the way to go. It would allow me to keep the Mossy Creek Mushrooms live streams a completely separate thing.
Samantha has good ideas.
Samantha has great ideas.
Samantha's the best.
Ran over to my neighbors for Samantha is the best. Ran over to my neighbors for a minute, but yeah, that perlite seems to be way too expensive to add to sub to a Florida oyster mushrooms. Just my input. Girl, you are.
All hopped up on jelly.
You're all hopped up on jelly.
You're not the queen bee type.
You're not the queen bee jelly.
Oh man.
I love you, girl. And yeah, I agree that the perlite's just an expensive addition. You don't really need. If anything, wood chips, charcoal. Charcoal would be cheaper. Go buy lump charcoal and add it if you want to add some sort of fluff. But most of the time, most people are just growing on a pretty fine granular size. You can use whole oats as your grain spawn, and that will actually produce a lot of the airspace that you're looking for. And if you use whole oats as your supplementation, that adds even more airspace as well. Just say you are right, Samantha. Married life hack. Samantha actually does not like that. She hates that. When I just
Don't
say,
placate me.
she said, "Do not placate her." She is not a plate. Yeah, she hates being placated.
I will burn it all to the ground.
I mean, I absolutely use that hack, but I have to make it seem like she wore me down. So I have to give up this false defense at first. Hey, Zero Bites, what's going on? Glad to have you with us, bud. Crystal says, thank you for answering my questions. It was awesome to catch you live. Best of luck to you guys with all your projects. You too, Crystal. I hope you stick around and ask more questions. I need more questions. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. Feed me.
So at the point you start questioning yourself.
Oh my gosh. So I started watching this YouTube channel. It's been around forever. I can't believe I haven't seen much of it, but it's called Brew Stew. And every time you start a video, it goes, Brew Stew, or maybe it's the end of the video. But it's badly drawn cartoons, and he's just telling stories. And number one, he's a good storyteller. But number two, he's just telling stories about being poverty-stricken. Of course, that resonates with me from, us growing up, or us getting married and stuff. And then thirdly, his sound effects. He was like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. So I ate this fucking blah, 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 and it made my stomach go blah, 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 blah. And he just goes all in on his sound effects. And I'm like, I wish I was brave enough to do that on my channel. So I thought you said hump too. Hunt.
See?
Hunt. Hunt. It's just my marbled East Tennessee mush mouth is what it is. King Blues on Doug Fir and Oat are great. Nice and dark. Second flush, not great. Low 100 to 200 gram harvest on second flush.
See,
Yeah.
why is that? Why is the second flush not that great?
Why is the second
Like,
flush not that great? I don't know.
There's so many questions.
Whole oats definitely don't seem to support the second flushes as much, which most people only do one flush and done. Some do 2 or 3.
And what's funny is the first time we grew on oats, like the first flush was okay, which we didn't expect, and the second flush was massive on Hericium. So why does it do that? Where'd you go? Come back. Oh, he's putting his drink in the to keep it cold. That's hilarious. And very awesome.
Everybody laughs at me around here because I'll be out here working in the garden and I'll have like a beer or a Coca-Cola or something. And they'll come over and talk to me and I'm like, oh yeah, and I'll get thirsty. So I'll go over and out of my tray, my plant trays, I'll just pull out my drink and, take a swig and put it back in there. But it's pulling water from the bottom of the fish tank and cycling it through the plant tray. So it's the only way to keep a drink super cold out here. And I like my drinks cold. I will straight up not drink water while I wait for water to chill in the fridge sometimes. I'm kind of a baby about it. What it is I got to quench this fire I got for you, baby.
Oh man.
Thinking of not wasting space on second flush king blue unless I know I can get a good second harvest. Maybe up your water content. I don't know what your water up it to like 60%, and then try again. See if your second flushes go up, because it's usually a water issue, not a nutrition thing when it comes to second flushes. Also, make sure you're using a fine mist fogger. Boy, those they are living their best life. Look at them. I hope we're like that when we're old and white. I'm starting to get there, though. Look at that. It's crazy to me. I started this channel, and I was looking at some old videos of us. I looked so young when I started this channel. Imagine eating a baked tilapia with mushrooms and vegetables from your own garden. Dude, I've done it. I love it. Baked tilapia, or I got this herb. It came in yesterday. I let it sit for 24 hours in plant trays and just planted it right before the stream. It's called fish mint. I'm so excited about it. It's kind of supposed to be like fishy and kind of peppery, and I'm like, I am totally going to eat this with some tilapia. And it's apparently an aquatic herb from Malaysia, I think, but it likes these mucky beds. So very, very excited about it. And yeah, I agree, man. Like, it's also something that I think, being like opening up and being quite honest, I'm a little worried about this Strait of Hormuz stuff and supplies and all that kind of thing. So the fertilizer shortage that's already been around the world has been going on. Our food system's still not recovered. I'm not saying that there's going to be like mass starvation or anything like that. I'm not going, but even an increase in food prices can drastically change people's diets. So one of the things that we're trying to do is offer for our CSA like a really affordable, really good quality food setup, a weekly box they can get where they can go buy their commodity calories, like rice and potatoes and things like that, and then you can come here and get plenty of vegetables, mushrooms, things that are high in fiber, vitamins and minerals, and have great flavor to them. My hope is to offer tilapia at the end of this season for the CSA, and then at the beginning of next year, I hope to offer tilapia the whole time. And so we'll have mushrooms and microgreens and aquatic greens and fish and regular vegetables like tomatoes and peppers and things like that. So, you know, and I'm a little bit worried about some of this stuff. So I think it's a good time to start. Like, if you haven't started farming or gardening, it's a good time to start that up. Which I think it's a good time anyways, but even more so to kind of set up. It doesn't have to be the most self-sustaining farm to begin with. I would just start growing something, start producing something local. And one of the nice things about our system that we're setting up is that the spit mushroom substrate feeds the plants. And then you just, like, for some cheap solar pumps, you can create recirculating systems with plant trays, and you can do a very similar system to what we're doing in your locality, kind of thing. So this is something I want to start documenting and showing how we're going to be producing this CSA this year. So we're starting to do the CSA. I'm starting to work up the ad. I've started separating out all my pepper plants. I've still got. Oh, you know what? We should be doing that. I could be doing that while I'm talking. You want to go grab a plant tray and bring it out here to me?
I will.
You don't have to. I'll do it later.
No, I'm I'm researching stocking. Okay, I've got to so many side quests. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. But anyways, I think that beyond just the like comfort that it gives me to eat the food I've produced, but being able to get in and like, I want to be the food guy for my community. I want to be the food guy for my mother and my father and my brother and my business partners and their families and Samantha and her parents and my kids. And, you know, they're at the age where they're starting to think about starting families and, or, you know, finishing school. That kind of like, I want to be able to have that enclave, that kind of thing. And I think that's a noble thing anyways. At least I think of it as a noble thing. But when it comes to the supply side of stuff, I feel like anything that doesn't have to be shipped in is a really good way to go right now. There's a lot of volatility, and anytime there's a lot of volatility, I think that it's good to be a producer and not just a consumer. The LC pre-mix formula you gave us is doing great. Thanks again. Absolutely, I'm glad that it's doing great for you. It's been doing wonders for me, and our version 3 is having some really interesting effects. Fewer hyphal extensions, which is actually a good thing, but more numerous longer filaments in the culture, which is exactly what you want to see, because it means that it didn't run out of nutrition, kill off that side, and regrow and start growing a whole new side. So I'm looking forward to seeing your aquaculture progressing. Me too. Thank you. It's kind of nice. I had a meeting and I made a connection with a couple of the local hatchery owners. We've been talking to some local nurseries. I'm working on providing some aquatic plants to the local nurseries, in particular flowers, because flowers will sell really well there. Woo! Thank you. Oh, poor little black soldier fry. Thank you, baby. So that's cool. I wonder if she may, even without being asked, she's probably gonna go grab that bag of peppers. We'll go get some dirt. What I'll do is I'll play a sponsor and I'll go get some dirt, and then I'll sit here and be packing plants, separating my peppers out. I'll show you guys. Actually, I think I did a live stream where I actually cleaned those pepper seeds and put them in the bags, using the mushroom bags to produce plants in sterile culture, and then I've pulled them out of sterile culture and had them hardening off indoors, getting the roots introduced to some microbes, and now we're now I've got the other batches hardening off inside after being transplanted. We'll have a lot of them left over. Is that the shishitos? That's the shishitos. The small one's the Izhvarsky. So you guys can see. And I'll just separate these out. And they do great. And what I like to do is I like to pick my biggest, best plants. And we'll get 48 of them for this. What's this for? Oh, that's you. Okay. I'm going to play a sponsor. I'll be right back. And I will have some dirt, and then we'll repot us some peppers.
Hey folks, welcome to another sponsorship for the Mushroom Cast. We're always talking about dialing in your grow setup, and when it comes to humidity, there's one name we trust, House of Hydro. These foggers are an absolute game changer for mushroom cultivation. House of Hydro's ultrasonic humidifiers put out an incredibly fine, cool mist. So fine, in fact, that mycelium can actually uptake it straight from the air. That means better hydration, better growth, happier mushrooms, and better yields. And let me tell you, these things are way easier to vent around your op than setting up full-on plumbing pressure systems. No pipes, no hassle, just perfect humidity right where you need it. And when you're working with the best, you want the best support. John at House of Hydro takes care of his customers better than anyone in the game. If you ever need help, they've got you covered. And because House of Hydro is sponsoring the Mushroom Cast, we've got a deal for you. Use code MOSSY at checkout, and you'll get a full set worth of free replacement discs with your order. It's up to a $50 value. Get yourself a House of Hydro fogger. Your mushrooms will thank you. Keep spawning culture, y'all.
Oh man, it ended right before I got back. All right. Mrs. Mossy got scared when Mr. Mossy left. She does that. But she doesn't like the spotlight. She hates the spotlight. Hates it. See if I can put you guys right up here like this. Nope. Ah, here we go. I'll put you guys on that.
Yeah, propped up.
Got them propped up? Yeah, so I can put the peppers in front of me.
Is there anything else that you need from me before I go back to
No, you go back to filling orders.
poison?
Poison, don't kiss me. Don't kiss me with that poison mouth.
Sorry.
I'm allergic to peanut butter.
So I ate all the poison.
So she eats all the poison for me. But yeah, it says Mrs. Mossy got scared when Mr. Mossy left. I was telling him, yeah, you don't like the spotlight. You hate the spotlight.
I do not like it.
Thanks for all you do. What are your thoughts about Mike from Mushroom Mesa? I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know him.
It's a side quest we don't need to go on. Right now. So focus.
Focus. I'm focused on
Right.
the stream. This
I'm
is
going
just a
back to orders.
byproduct. I love you.
Then-
I don't know him much. He's so well, whatever. She's already gone. So these are my shishito peppers. Super excited about them. But as far as Mike goes, I don't know. He's got some interesting stuff. I don't like his build out. His farm build out is way too much work. Seems to be way too much about products and not about the systems. So, and I'm more of just a humble. I feel like I try to be. I don't know. I try to be humble in how I approach stuff. And so it's two very different styles. I don't know him very well. I've talked to him for years beforehand, and I've always liked him. Our interactions have always been pleasant. I don't watch a lot of other people's channels. I have specifically watched some of his because people have asked me to. And if you've got a specific video of his that you want me to go through and give you my opinion on, I'll give you my opinion. And I'm always trying to stay out of mushroom drama. So, I've always got to be careful. What are your thoughts on him? I don't know much about Mike, other than from what I've seen from his systems, and it's not just that my best friend builds the Thor bagger. I believe in it. He went with the main cap and stem bagger system, which honestly I think is the worst bagger system that's out there. Not because it's necessarily a bad bagger, but it's so expensive for farmers that there's very few use cases where you need that kind of accuracy. And every one of those heads is about the same cost as a full Thor. And it takes 6 of those to get anything approaching the speeds of the Thor bagger. And then on top of that, the Thor bagger is so much easier to repair for yourself than anything that's largely digital or scale based. That scale goes out. So I don't know. And it's not that I think the main cap and stem guys are, bad designers or anything like that. They've built it for a very specific use case. I just think that for most farmers, in particular, the farmers starting off and the small scale, that's just way too much money. And I'm just always really skeptical when I start seeing people buy what I call the legitimacy trap equipment. If you got to, just make your system legitimate and make money. The problem is that a lot of times the systems that actually make money, the systems that are actually good for farmers, a lot of times they're not flashy. And when they're not flashy, they end up being, they end up not serving you well. I've almost regretted every flashy buy I've ever made. There's very few pieces of equipment anymore that I want to put my name attached to. The Rhizofunga induction sterilizer is one that I'm absolutely in love with. I tried that one, and I was like, that's the only thing that's ever been able to get me off the torch. And I don't know. I guess that's kind of where I stand on stuff, is that I have a lot of respect for everybody. I think a lot of people a lot of people have good use case equipment, but it's only in that use case. And a lot of times, hold on a second. A lot of times the equipment's being pushed for use cases that it's not actually all that great for. And so I'm just always skeptical of that kind of stuff. Like the Myers bagger is expensive, but I would rather buy one of the Myers baggers because it's so fast and it's so reliable. You know, you got the Thor baggers, which are my favorite. And they don't pay me to say that. I don't get paid for Thor baggers at all. It's one of my big regrets is that I never worked out a deal to get paid for pushing those. Whenever I know that I have been responsible for selling so many of them. But the I don't know. I guess that's my opinion. Tell me your opinion. Let's see. I'm at 75% Doug fir, 25% oat, 60% H2O. I'll modify it up. Yeah, modify it up just a little bit. Don't do all of your bags that way. Just do a few test bags and see if you get better results. And if you do, then you can just swap over to the new recipe. You know, you can do a half and half, or just make sure you do a control group. Don't just swap on it. It's just, you know, wholeheartedly. So, trying the LC premix and agar plates right now. That's basically, I mean, our sport killer formula is basically our LC premix formula, but yeah. I absolutely can.
I'm sorry. Oh, never mind.
You found it? She is the losinest thing. And when I say losinest, I mean not that she's a loser. She'd lose her head if her neck didn't have it attached, or however they say that. But Mushy's Ink, let me know how that goes. I think that'll do really well for you. It does really well for us. Sam said if you make her peanut butter and jelly sandwich, she'll get the tray. Now she'll get the tray regardless. No, she had already eaten, but also she won't let me make the peanut butter sandwiches since I'm so allergic to peanuts. Peanuts and tree nuts, other than pecans, I'm allergic to. Stoked for the Cordyceps workshop. Had to come take a peek at the stream while market slowed down. Grow Fresh, I hope you can still hear me. I've got an email going out to you tomorrow, but the class is being pushed back a week. I've got a guest teacher coming in, and he can only make the next weekend. So I hope I'm not, you know, screwing you up on that. But I think you said that you couldn't attend anyways because you were at market. But just let me know if you see this. But I'll send you the email tomorrow afternoon. So, man, these got some nice looking peppers. These shishito peppers are some of my absolute favorites to grow. I've grown for the past 2 years, and they just produce so much pepper biomass. I mean, just so many peppers, and you get to eat them green. One of my favorite things is to take shishito peppers, pick them green, throw them whole in a cast iron skillet with a little bit of lard or butter, and then start frying them up until they start getting browned, and just keep rolling them until they're nice and browned, and then you can sprinkle a little bit of oyster mushroom powder on them, and then layer them on toast, and get that big, thick Texas toast. And that stuff, like, the only way it's better is if you add a little bit of shrimp to it, and then ladle that on toast. Though, if I do that, I tend to go shrimp and peas. After you said this is why we purposely neglect our children, we don't see her much alive. Oh, man. I don't think that it was quite that acute, but yeah, I feel you. It was pretty funny. I think everybody knows we don't purposely neglect our children, and she knew that. I was just joking. But I don't think she knew that everybody, I don't think she thought everyone else knew I was joking. That's what she's worried about. But no, she just doesn't like the limelight much, and she's so busy nowadays doing all the order fulfillment and stuff that she basically just lets me do this to help drive sales and teach people, and then she handles the background a lot more. So it is getting to the point where she and I are both getting so overwhelmed that we started using our phones as an extra brain. And so if I don't put it into memory, I don't remember it. Thanks for sharing what you do. I learn something every time I come here. I'm glad you do. I hope that I continue that. So that would be ideal if I can continue teaching. It also feeds my curiosity. Oh, dang, I need a haircut. Look at that. Jacob Wolves, welcome, man. Any tips for making frozen products? What kind of frozen products are you like? Mushroom frozen products? The main thing with oysters would be to cook them first, because otherwise they just turn to mush after you freeze them. So drying them and then freezing them, or cooking them and then freezing them in some way has been the best way I've turned to. If you're talking like you can freeze spawn, like King Blue spawn will freeze for up to a year and still be usable. That's a little trick I've used in the past to hold on to some spawn in case I need more. Check it out. We'll go add the dirt here in a minute. These are some nice pepper plants. What I'll do too is I'll go through this. I just tear it completely apart. And I'll call up family and friends and give them any of the cast-offs that they want. But out of 48 plants, I'm only going to need... Sorry, I've got 3 48 plug packs or plug trays, and I think I'm only going to need 20 pepper plants this year for the CSA. So I'll have a lot of extras as well. So my mom and dad tend to get the leftovers of the first picks, but I just hate to throw them away because otherwise they just go in the compost. And while that's not a waste, it's a lot of, it's a little bit of effort to, we grow them out in the bags in a sterile culture. So there's a lot of work I go through it to get them there at first. But I also find this is a lot easier to get big, healthy plants for production. If I was going to do plug packs for sale or something, I would get a vacuum seeder and just work on those. Those things are super cool. I actually asked Ben if he might be able to build me one. Do you know how I can get info on the bag shaker? I put my email address on their website, but I haven't had any response, nor did they post a phone number. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Email me. Just email me, and I will give you Ben's email address. I don't remember it off the top of my head. It might just be info@manowarinnovations.com, but I just email me, and I'll just forward your email to Ben. And I'll make sure that it gets to him. All right. Need to get in the flow hood. Wonder what you would buy in today's market. Yeah, so the first people I would contact would be Manowar, since they make 3D printed models that are really affordable, but they don't make the biggest ones. If you want like a big sized one, it may be easier just to buy 2 smaller ones, like 2. Instead of a 4-foot hood, you can buy 2 2-foot ones from Manowar that will probably be way cheaper. You can buy a filter and a squirrel cage fan that's appropriately sized for it for about half the price that you can buy a typical flow hood, and then you can work that flow hood. Come on, wasp. Stop getting in my dirt. You can build it yourself. So if you're pretty handy, it's just like basically a wood cabinet. If you That wasp doesn't, whatever, I don't know what it is. It may be after Smith. It's jelly, actually, now I think about it. They also like to try to sometimes build nest under these spools that I use as tables and stuff. So occasionally we have to look, but I try to use this every day so that they don't get used to being here. Air science is a good one if you want vertical. So it depends on if you want vertical or horizontal. Man of War only does horizontal. Most cultivators want horizontal. So that's kind of what I would go with most of the time. But if I was just doing like research or there's a lot of reasons why I would want a vertical hood space that's a cabinet with the vertical flow. So it kind of just depends on that too, what kind you want. But that's where I would start. Kind of depends on your size and what you want your flow rate to be, how much air you're filtering. If you're just using it as a workspace, if you're using it to bring air into your lab, but Man of War would be where I would start. For the bag shakers, the stir plates, the baggers, basically Ben would be the first person I go to on a lot of things. So I want to come down and help you as a volunteer. In return, I learn real life experience. Yeah, I mean, I don't typically do that very often. I could have you sign a liability waiver, but I would probably just be putting you on repotting peppers and things like that. Like just straight up, repetitive work is about the only thing I really could train you for quickly. So I don't tend to do work trade. It's not that I'm against it in principle. It's just that a lot of people want to do the work trade. They want me to let them do the lab work and stuff, which I can't do because I'm selling it and I have to be really careful. But if you're willing to let me put you on some repetitive tasks and then I can show you some stuff, kind of thing. Sometimes that works. Now the question is, how far are you and where are you going to have to stay? Because I don't have anywhere for somebody to stay. You'd have to probably pay for an Airbnb or find a place to camp or something. So, it's that's one of the reasons why we don't do it is we just don't have anywhere to host people unless they're paying to stay at like the Airbnb out back. How well does some of this sort of air scrubbing / cleaning fan with a filter work in pre-con room? I do have a carbon filter in my room, which is one of the benefits of it. I mean, it's better. If all of your air is coming from your pre-con room, it is better to have it clean. It's hard for a lot of people when they're doing negative pressure because a lot of times they're just bringing air in from outside or whatnot. But if you can have your pre-con, all of your air coming through your pre-con and have it filtered, that'll keep bugs out. That's the main thing I would want kept out is bugs. Mold and bacteria, I'm not so worried about in my grow room because I'm going to bring it in with the mushroom blocks or on my skin or that kind of stuff. And I'm not willing to go to NASA level standards to enter the grow room and whatnot. And so we just do contamination management in the grow room space. But yeah, if I had the chance to filter my pre-con hallway, I would totally do that. But it wouldn't do me any good because we pull air in from just all over the warehouse. But we also don't get bugs. Even then, we don't really get a lot of bugs in our room. We get the occasional flies and things like that, but where we pull our blocks out so quickly, we don't really have a chance for the flies to set up breeding colonies or anything of the like. So I just typically don't concern myself with it. Are you familiar with cardboard tech? Will liquid work with it and how? Absolutely, I'm familiar with it. I use cardboard for a lot of things. In particular, cloning wild mushrooms. And then I clone from the cardboard. So real quick before I continue on with that, this is mushroom substrate that was cooked in the pressure cooker, and it had charcoal dust added to it. Charcoal we just made here on site, and plants go crazy in it. And we found, in particular, when you add enough charcoal to turn the soil with the dirt black. I guess it's not really soil at the point that it's sterile, which it shouldn't be sterile now. We've added microbes and fungi to it just from our garden space, but the main thing is we wanted the seeds to germinate, so we do a sterile wash, an alcohol and bleach wash. Anyways, going back to what you're saying there, cardboard tech works great. I wouldn't want to grow like food crops on it, but as a spawn, cardboard works amazing. You can inoculate logs with it. You can inoculate, if it's sterilized, you can inoculate fruiting blocks with it. It's a little harder though. But as like a low tech spawn, I think it's one of the best mother spawn patches that you can possibly produce. So. Mike seems like a nice guy, but I don't know him at all besides his videos. I wonder about that bagger. It's super expensive. Now, they may have given him a deal on it. He may have some sort of... I don't know if he does. I'm not saying that he does. I'm just saying they may have given it to him at a cheaper cost. Also, mushroom farming is pretty lucrative. I'm not saying that people can usually afford the bagger. I just don't think it's worth it, is all. For a strictly production environment. Ow. Dang it. Just burned a hole in the shirt. But yeah, Mike seems perfectly nice. He's always been nice to me. He's always been pleasant. So, in fact, I've talked to him about maybe even having him be a strain tester for us. I need to send him another message. I don't think he responded to my last message. But I know he's busy, and I know he's kind of off grid. I will say that post he did, was it yesterday, about getting into ponies and selling off his mushroom farm, absolutely had me fooled. Absolutely had me fooled. I was like, what? No way. He's doing so well. And then it completely blew my mind. And then I saw it was April Fool's Day, and I was like, oh, right. I forgot to stay off social media on April Fool's. What are some BE numbers for reference to build a business on? I've always been curious about it, but not sure if my margins will be high enough in my country. For what, Jake? So I will say BE is all over the place for people. It is so highly dependent on so many variables. They say that a 100% BE on first flush is like supreme, but there are so many strains that I've worked with that give me like an 80% BE. Biological efficiency, I just don't feel like is a super good metric, but it's also like the best metric a lot of people have, that we have. I tend to work more, instead of biological efficiency, as in fruit to substrate, I try to do more of a how much fruit do I get per man hour, if that makes sense. So if there's a substrate that's easier for me to work with, that gets me a lower BE per bag, but I can producing an extra 10, 20, 30, 50 bags is actually easier, then I go that route. And so I do it all by the block, and I just try to do my averages. That way, I wish I did have something kind of gospel, silver bullet kind of thing I could share with you. But I feel like most of the times those like silver bullet kind of answers people give, or those one answer fits all, just does people a lot of disservice. That said, I mean, 100% is kind of the number thrown around. I don't know that I agree with it. But yeah, it's shoot for like 80% BE maybe would be a good one. Even better. Okay, cool. So I'm glad you heard that about the class change. I'll get the email sent out tomorrow to everybody. What are some Man-O-War teasers you can leak? Honestly, there's not a lot that I can leak right now. Let's see. Ben's really been slowed down by fulfillment right now. He's having to fulfill so many things that the designs have slowed down a little bit. He's got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. He's got a really affordable HRV designed, and he's got a test model of it, but it's not gotten past the prototype. You know, there's a lot of things that could be worked on, but and things that he's working on, or things that he is working on. But I know that he's been focused on like getting Thor baggers out and trying to make sure all that pipeline stays good. So, damn, I've got a vertical flow in storage. We got to talk on the floor. Still have my neighbors hanging in the garage and listening to me in the garage. Is your neighbor there too? Are you subjecting him to my voice? I feel bad for him. If one does an entire grow room full of Cordy's, when one need airflow, if so much, how much airflow? So you don't need much. Cordyceps actually likes high CO2. The room I have them in right now is pretty large for the stocking rate I have right now, but I have almost no airflow in it. And the Cordy's are starting to club out. That's another reason why I pushed it back, was because I want to harvest. I want to show a harvest, and I'm like, I'm still a little ways from a harvest. So I want to try to make sure that we've got some good stuff there. But yeah, Cordyceps doesn't need much, and the yield can be pretty high. You have to dial it in, and you have to get good strain, good media. You're actually in a really good position in the world to get good strains, way better than most of us are in America. Though, thankfully, that has changed a lot with terrestrial fungi, Appalachian Gold. There's another guy, I can't remember his name. He's got beautiful strains, though. But I cannot remember his name. I've not been able to find him. I was wanting to do some side-by-sides, but I've only been able to get Appalachian Gold and terrestrial fungi stuff. But yeah. Hardly any, like a computer fan for a 10 by 10 room would probably be more than enough. They will. Cordyceps will grow in regular rice. You don't have to use brown rice. Brown rice is pretty good. So we're not doing brown rice so much. So we're doing a mix of grains and supplements. So, of which we'll talk about on the stream a week and a day from now. All right, I gotta put some soil on these peppers, or they're gonna dry out. So give me 1 second to finish these off. So I just come straight up to my mushroom beds where we got all this spent substrate, and I just fill this up and cover the pepper roots up. And I let the plants kind of just lean. Speak of peppers, there's some of my old pepper plants. This could have been your daddy. And it looks like it's about to rain again, so I'm going to try to get this done before the rain hits me. But a lot of people get really worked up about having their plants in the center. And I have found that it doesn't really matter. The plants don't seem to mind just being in the side of the cell. And a lot of times, I used to get real concerned about making sure they were facing up. But now, I don't even worry about that. They will straighten up on their own. I just make sure they're covered. And then I'll put some water. I'll move this tray to the plant room, the indoor plant room. And from there, we will have water added from the fish tanks. And so these little seedlings, they get fish water. They get nice mushroom compost. And it's living soil at this point. So they are far, far, far from sterile culture at this point. My fish room is a big mess. Otherwise, I'd take you guys in there right now. But I used to be so careful with these plants, and I found that I've just not had to be. It helps that we save our own seed, and so the more when we pick the plants that do better in our system, the easier it is to grow plants in our system. Oh, where did you come from? Thank you. Right here. I wasn't looking. I was looking at the computer when I moved that. But yeah, let's see. Mushies, I bought a 2x4 direct from China. Quality is great. Shipped half the cost, and 2 ships the same as 1. 2x4 HEPA filters. 6 pre-filters for $1,000. That seems kind of expensive to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess it kind of depends on the shipping and the flow rate. It's eggshell. Almost done. So I did my golden honey peppers like this a couple days ago, and they have absolutely gone crazy in just this loamy, rich mix. And I used to pack my trays down, my dirt down in the trays. But I got away from that. Now just make sure that all my plants don't have the tops covered. And there we go. That is 48 shishito peppers planted. I'll take all this eggshell, crumble it up, I'll put it under. We trade a lot of our if a bag of oats busts in our autoclave, we'll take that and we trade that with some local people for eggs. And so I don't have, I've got all the eggs I could ever use coming from this couple. And we've got a couple other people that we will sometimes trade with if we got extra. But that's a cool little bug. But yeah, so we get like I eat quite a bit of egg salad sandwiches, which honestly is good after a workout. It's good protein. And the eggs they're not free, but a bag of oats doesn't cost me that much. And if it busts, then it's not sterile anyways, and I can't use it. And I can add it to the compost, and it won't be waste. Or I can feed it to black soldier fly larvae, which won't be a waste. Or I can trade some for eggs. The 2 or 3 bags. We get 2 or 3 bags bust. Not every run, but 2 or 3 times a week. And so we just decided to make that a resource. Oh, the BE question was for Cordyceps. Oh, okay. So my understanding, and from what I've seen, is that off of about a 5-pound bag, it's not quite a 5-pound bag, a good ratio would be about 150 grams of Cordyceps harvested. So it's actually a pretty good yield. I mean, it's not like an oyster yield by any means. So I accidentally breathed that one in. Is there any concern about bad chemicals leaching from cardboard to mushrooms? There is. So you want to stay away from stuff that's held chemicals. You want to stay away from anything that's had a laminate print on it. Thankfully, a lot of inks that just go straight to cardboard are, so like the ones that are like embedded in the cardboard, are mostly vegetable inks. Though you might want to make sure. Now, if you're using it as spawn, I'm not that worried about it. But if you're using it as a grow substrate, I'd be more concerned. When you're using it as a spawn source, there's going to be so little, and it's not like it's accumulating a lot. But especially if you're going to like logs or something. But anything that's got the slick prints on it often has heavy metals in it. So you have to be really careful with that. Jake, wolves, I just harvested one of your lines making clones today, and it weighed 3 pounds. Yeah, I mean, like the wolf's bloom for me is I'm routinely getting 3.5 pounds off wolf's bloom. So that one has been quite the producer for us. It's a heavy producer, and its second flushes are about a pound on a 12-pound block. No, you're on Bluetooth, hush. Wiliest I ever, before I get to your comment, do you own a drink company or something? I think my dad drinks a Wiliest lemonade or something. They are the ones I see domestic for about $800, and that's just with one filter. It did take about 45 days. So yeah, I mean, anytime you order straight from China, it's going to take a little longer, even though they've got storehouses here. I guess they're cutting out the middleman, though, that's storing it, so you're not having to pay that fee. $800 for a 2x2? What was that number you said up there earlier? 2x4. Okay, 2x4. Wait, you got 2x4 with 6 pre-filtered. Okay, maybe that I must have read that wrong, because that's actually not that bad a price. My bad. I read that as 2 2x2s. But you're saying 2 2x4s. 2x4 is pretty chunky, yeah. And that would cost you easily. A 2x4 is going to cost you $1,000 a lot of times. And now it depends. Are you talking about are these flow hoods or are these FFUs? Because FFUs are not quite the same, even though they will absolutely work for good clean work. They're just not the same level of filtration. Nova Gold has been kick-ass lately, just getting in the groove of it. So fast and yields beautiful flushes with somewhat of a resistance to improper conditions. Akron has been a lot less forgiving. Yeah, Nova's been where it's at. The Saratoga is also where it's at. Akron works really well for me. Akron is probably some of the best flavor, but I think the Saratoga, Dooling up in Sporadic in Montana grew the Saratoga and said that was one of the least brittle strains he's ever come across. So that one was cool. Nova, to me, was also one of the best. And Nova is just, I love that gold it does. Jacob Howard, yeah, it's a heavy boy for sure. How's Namiko doing for you? 5 pound subs gives 150 grams dry or wet. Dry was my understanding. What was my harvest? Like, that's when you get things really dialed in. My harvest has been slightly below that. Also, I've noticed Cordyceps keeps a lot more of its weight, I feel like, than a lot of other mushrooms. It doesn't seem to be quite the water weight that some of the, like the oysters and stuff are. Also has their shelf life. Cordyceps, I mean, dried, it's a long time. It's forever. I don't know anybody that sells it fresh. Excuse me, Beetle. Do not need you on my leg. FFU. Okay, FFU. So, yeah, FFUs tend to be cheaper than flow hoods. 14th design for mycology work. Definitely not top of the line, but I'd say solid mid-grade. And yeah, absolutely. And I know people that run businesses on FFUs all the time. I don't have a problem with it. It's just a lower level of filtration. It's actually a lower level of airflow. So at the 99.999 whatever percent filtration, FFUs run at a lower rate. So it means that you're cleaning less air. But there's nothing wrong with that, especially if you're doing it, if you're installing a few of them like in your ceiling, or if you're using them just to create like a workspace that you can work around. Flow hoods have a specific laminar flow. They have a plenum built into them, that kind of thing. So if there's a drink company using my name and likeness to sell product, I need to have my lawyer get in touch with them. And I don't think it's your likeness. It's just the name Wiliest. But I don't think they have, I don't know what your likeness is. So, but they didn't have a face or anything on it. And it may not have been it. Let's see. Oh, I'm thinking of Weilers. I was thinking of Weilers, not Wiliest. That's my bad. One of those mishaps. For the FFU, building one yourself is cheaper for sure. Oh, I'm sure of it. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be building yourself is always gonna be a lot cheaper. Not always. I shouldn't say that, because I know a lot of people that have tried to build Thor baggers, and honestly, it's your material cost is almost always going to cost you about the same as what Ben, because Ben's got, you know, a supply line coming in. So, have you been able to try out Gold Rush from Jacob Howard? That strain is certainly the most unique gold I've ever seen. I've got it, and I've grown it. I don't remember it being particularly different than a lot of the other golds. It was productive. Remember, it was productive. I mean, I just like the golds and the way they smell in general. I love, like, all the gold strains have their use to me. But I haven't grown Gold Rush in, like, I've got spores from it. I haven't grown it in over a year. But I haven't grown a lot of gold lately. What I would like to do is try to get Jacob Howard and myself to work again, or try to mutate the golden oyster, or even if Jacob will just do it, the golden oyster to be like the King Blue there that we've done, where he bred it and then I took the spores and ran a few more generations off of it. But a golden oyster that only stays at the lump stage would really excite me, because then we could grow golden oyster, and everyone who's worried about it being invasive can just not be worried anymore, because it won't produce spores. So even when you throw it in your compost pile, it's not spreading spores, that kind of thing. Someone was saying on Facebook that, because they were talking about the golds, and I was telling them about the emerald ash borer and gold lining up together. Thank you, whoever told me that on this stream. It may have been Myco Nerd, or I can't remember. Could have been Plum. Somebody told me about it. Anyways, I was talking to them about it because I was like, yeah, we saw this and we noticed blah blah blah, and I was like looking at it, it's uncanny. And then someone was like, yeah, but the problem comes not from the people growing it in grow rooms, but the growers who are. It's not the kits that are the problem. It's the people mass dumping substrate out in their forests. And I'm like, I don't know any grower that mass dumps their substrate into a forest. There might be some, but most growers are not looking to waste that. You know, they usually just get paid for it. Just joking, man. Just some random dude. I mean, I didn't know. I don't know you, bud. I don't know how famous you might be. All right, guys, let's hit one more word from our sponsors, which is me.
Introducing the future of mycology, Dr. Silurian's Elixir of Mycelial Mastery. This isn't your average culture mix. It's a revolution in a packet, crafted for the dedicated cultivator seeking unparalleled growth. Experience the visual alchemy of this masterful brew. As you mix 10 grams with 500 milliliters of water, watch the solution transform into a rich amber spectacle, the hallmark of a nutrient-dense sanctuary for your burgeoning mycelium. This is where vibrant color meets vibrant life, setting our elixir apart from the ordinary clear liquid cultures. Prepare to be captivated. Mix 10 grams of Dr. Silurian's elixir with 500 milliliters of water, add a stir bar for thorough integration, and sterilize the blend at 15 psi for 45 minutes. Once cooled, introduce your favorite culture into this perfectly prepared, nutrient-rich environment. Watch in awe as the elixir works its magic, unveiling a mycelial masterpiece before your eyes. Choose Dr. Silurian's Elixir of Mycelial Mastery for a mycological adventure that's as visually enchanting as it is potent.
Welcome back. Hey, that's a much prettier background. Much prettier. Well, since we've had a bunch of people leave, people are leaving and getting supper, and you guys don't have any more questions, I guess I'll close down the stream. So I'll give you a couple more minutes to bring up some questions. Oh, I told somebody I was going to do a garden walk around real quick. Are you still here? Would you like to see it? If you want me to do a garden walk around, I will do so. Just say yay or nay. And if you got questions, comments, criticisms, just remember, I don't handle criticism well. I need to be liked. Farmer Cheryl says, yeah, all right, we'll do it. Let me set up the stream on the phone real quick again. Oh, I hate that when I see a PayPal and it's an expenditure. Bad. Alrighty. Oh, dang it. Regarding golden oysters, I would think that the spore load from exhaust would be more damaging than blocks in terms of... I would think so too. If it's a problem. I still am not convinced it's a major problem. But that is one of the things that I will probably... Like, people, I'll be unpopular till the day I die, and then one day I'll either be right after I'm dead, or I'll be right later, so... All right, Wallard, have a good one, man. That punching bag looks too unused there. Dude, I use that every day. The reason, you know what, we'll go look at that real quick, but I will definitely show you. I am losing weight. Thank you very much for noticing, man. It's been quite the adventure. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to do a quick walkie around. Hey, look, the little platinum fish have come up. Or the rice fish. I noticed they like to come up at night. See, that's how I keep my drinks cold when I'm out here working. So, pretty used, man. Now, granted, this is Charles's punching bag. Now, this thing is not the same as most heavy bags. Most people that get heavy bags they're filled with like heavier foam. This is not. That is rocks, wood chips, sand, and infill. The bottom has got gravel in it, so when you kick and harden your toes and shins. So, anyways, we'll go to the garden here. And this is all built on a base of spent mushroom substrate. We got Samantha's nice big native columbine. We got irises and columbines and all kinds of flowers that people have given us. Make sure I don't accidentally step on the peppers. These are algae ponds right now. Now, eventually they will be. Fish ponds, but I'm building up the biofloc in there right now, which is a mix of little crustaceans and algae. We got sweet flag, water iris. I love my dandelions. I don't kill my dandelions. Some peppers, and these are these little beds here. It's a muck bed with aquatic plants growing in the sides, and then I do plants in these felt bags that stand above the water. And you can do some swamp plants that way, and just use shorter bags. Or you can, what I call them modified chinampas, right? So it's not quite a chinampa, but it's built on some of it. I'm sure there's an actual name for that. So here we've got like spent coffee filters, coffee grounds, grain, sawdust. And what I was showing earlier, it's a little, I don't know if they'll be up right now where I've already scratched the surface. We'll go to a different area. This is like blueberry, just like dead parts of the blueberry plants that didn't overwinter well after the freezes. But like, I usually bury banana peels right over here. And I know that the banana peels usually bring worms. But you can see how black this dirt gets just a couple inches under. These are pepino melons, garden huckleberries. The soil is actually warm. A few inches down, there's an old banana peel, and we got a little spider friend there. Yeah, I've already scratched all this up earlier, so the worms went down. We had to use a different bed. Mojito mint, which is my favorite mint plant. Fig that one of my mentees gave me, Jacob Culver. Autumn sedum. Pineapple sage, garden huckleberries, pineapple sage, even a little raspberry plant. We got water irises, duck potatoes. Let's see, this is water chestnuts. Or no, crap. This is water chestnuts, cattails. We got a lot of cattails. These are cattail babies right here. So these are what I'm going to do my tomatoes in. The big, I did 5 gallons last year, and my tomatoes did not do super well. So I'm doing the tomatoes in like a 15-gallon bag. This is bloody dock, also known as red leaf sorrel. It's a great swamp plant. It tastes a lot like a lemony spinach. One of my favorites. These are water spinach cuttings, and I put fresh substrate in there, which is why it's kind of foamy right now. And that'll be really rich. They love a lot of organic matter and muck, and that's perfect for mushroom substrate. Same thing for duck potatoes. This was all mushroom substrate and has had mushroom substrate added to it. And this stuff, I mean, it just there's worms. The worms like to get in every little mound here. And these duck potatoes, I mean, they're cool plants. I'm selling these right now on Facebook Marketplace for $8 a piece, 15 for 3, and I think it's 40 or 45 for 10 of them. And they make these little corms. There we go. And that's what you eat, those little potato pieces. And it tastes a lot like potato. It's a great plant. Let me wash my hand off. I love it. This stuff smells so rich. This is just kind of a mixed bed. I had buckets in it, and I've been emptying the buckets. I hate the food grade buckets. That's why we've moved to the felt bags. The felt bags last years, and the buckets last like a year or two before they start getting brittle. Plus, it's plastic, whereas I can grow in felt, and I like the felt better. These are spalting experiment logs. My Taki logs that I'm going to cut into pieces. Got a buddy that's setting up a food forest. Those are some big lion's mane logs. And then any water we use in the operation gets dumped into these beds from the dock, but it also gets dumped on the logs and creates this bed. It'll dump in there and they'll flow out, and the water will flow out onto those logs and keeps them hydrated. Let's see. So here we've got more of the bloody dock. And I'm doing as many of those as I can. They clump and they grow kind of slow. So these 3 clumps should fill this bag this year. I'll divide them again. These are water irises. Whereas those are sweet flag. And sweet flag, like you can tell the difference once you start working with them. But at first, a lot of people get them confused. I got lemongrass. Alpine strawberries, swamp sunflowers. And I got a lot more. All of my aquatic flowers are coming this in the next week or two. This bed's got logs, bark, and all kinds of stuff in it. And a lot of this stuff is fresh. It's got this is charcoal that I make here on site. Sometimes I make charcoal from the spent blocks after they're really good and dried. And let's see. These are your IBC totes. I'm actually going to move away from these because they do get brittle with time. But these are right now. The plan is for tilapia this year in them. And we got pickerel rush and water lilies, more duck potatoes, fish mint, some sweet flag that needs to be replanted, more water irises. I got to divide my irises up because probably start selling those this year. These are the non-native water irises. I have native ones like gamecocks and the Tennessee iris and a bunch of other stuff coming. So that's primarily the garden right now. I've got to majorly expand it. Now we have an IBC tote over here by the dumpster that is full of spent blocks and garden waste and aquatic plant material. And what we do is we set these IBC tote tops, just down on a pallet so we can move it around with the forklift. And then we do we just allow the leachate to come through. So like this one, I've got to move and replace that one over there. And that leachate's great as a plant fertilizer. It's what I feed to my green water tanks. Got a composter there. And so what's nice is like you grow the mushrooms, you get paid for the mushrooms. And you can use cordyceps for this waste too, though I would not want to do my black soldier fly larva bins and feed those cordyceps. I'm pretty sure that would kill them. But the grow room is, just inside, and then the blocks come out like on that shelf. We open them up, just dump them in bins, tubs, trays, etc. Add water or compost them down. And so we get paid for the mushrooms. And then the spent substrate comes out here. It just between that and plants, felt bags, which are only like 75 cents to $1 a piece. And the trays, which are super cheap at like Lowe's. And now basically the mushrooms are paying you to grow plants, but then you sell the plants. Like today, just during that stream, we've had a couple of people stop in and buy plants. The one guy bought 3 for $15, and another lady came by who actually runs Knox Foodie, which is super cool. And so that's another nice connection to have. And that's another reason I like doing the plants. Plants bring you all kinds of connections. And then people find out about the mushrooms and it gets more exciting. So yeah, each one of these things feeds into it. And then all the worms, I've got self-harvesting black soldier fly larva bins that I've got to put out on the shelf. And what I'll do is I'll have a whole shelf system full of those self-harvesting bins, and I'll rotate them. And I'll take that insect frass and add it to whatever plant material needs it. I'll even sell it as a garden amendment. And then the black soldier fly larva will go to the tilapia and the other fish. So we'll have black soldier fly larva. That's probably our protein engine. And then we have red wrigglers as the occasional treat. We have guppies that, if you've ever had guppies, that you'll get way too many, really quick. So any culls that we have don't go to waste. They end up being put into the tilapia as well. And it really helps up their omega-3 fatty acids. We feed duckweed, which is from the blocks again, that leachate goes into here, and it'll grow algae, and it'll grow duckweed and java moss, hornwort. All of that gets fed back to the fish. And so now we get paid for pretty much every step of the process. And this is our first year opening up the plant nursery side. And and really pushing the CSA. I've had a mushroom CSA for a while. This will be our first really big, hard push into a real CSA, but it'll be carried largely by the mushrooms and microgreens. So that's pretty exciting. These trays I was talking about, like I've got goldfish in here, and I do these floating trays where I do like papyruses and things like that. And then here we've got our flow-through beds, which are basically like our recovery nurseries. Anytime we get a shipment in of a plant or something that needs to harden off for a little bit, we put it out here because it gets the shade in the afternoon, but it gets early morning sun, and then so the sun sets right over there and rises right over there, so they get good gentle morning sun, and then they just grow. And water gets pumped in from the bottom of the tank, and it's on a solar panel. The solar panel, you see the wire going up right there, and that wire comes down to the bottom of the tank, pumps water to the bottom of the tank. And then what's cool about that is that we really only need the flow through to happen during the day when the plant trays are being hit by the sun. So when the sun starts shining, that's when it activates, and it keeps those plant roots cool all day long. And it's just solar power, so it doesn't cost a dime. And you get those solar pump kits for like, I don't know, really reasonably, sub $100 for solar panels. That's a solar pump for this one, and we're going to put the plant trays on this one next, and then the next one, and then yeah, just everything just kind of works in sync, and every step produces a waste product, which eventually pays us. All right, I'm gonna switch cameras. My phone's about to die. All right, so which of your Hericiums would do best in a warmer climate? I'm in Arizona. My grow room is around. So if your grow room's around 65, all of my Hericiums will do well. If you're working in a grow room where it's actually hot, Dyson sphere, huh? Don't want to what? No, the Ozar skim will only grow a little bit longer, I think. Or no, we can go ahead and do it, but I'm not gonna do it now. I've only got like 15 more minutes on the stream, so if you want to do it, huh? Yo, what? Well, if you need me to ask me something, go ahead and ask.
Is fractal a coraloides?
Fractals and coraloides. Yep. You're very welcome. Well, was a coraloides. It's apparently a defunct species now. But anyways, so Dyson sphere does the best in heat. It needs to be like 70 degrees or hotter to grow Dyson sphere. It will not grow in the cool. All of the other ones will grow up to 65 degrees, 75 degrees easy. So, and I appreciate you noticing, man, like I'm at an ugly duckling stage, I feel like, where I've lost a lot of weight and my flesh is loose. And I've got this big hangy belly and it's bleh. But I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, been eating a lot more of what I grow. I've been working out regularly, been running, and eating a lot of mushrooms. There was a new NAMA video of a girl doing her PhD on the golds. It was okay video with the Yeah, I heard about that. I actually heard somebody talking about that recently. In fact, I may have a comment back. Someone on that Facebook BBC post was talking to me about it, but oh yeah, I've never signed into Facebook on this computer. I was going to sign on and see if she had responded. Anyways, I would be very interested in it. The problem is that those studies that people are doing on are very small. They don't take in a lot of context. And there's a lot of context to be had and nuance in the gold conversation. It's not a equal one-to-one thing as I see it. So your setup is awesome, man. Really impressed with all the things you have going and how they work together. Thank you. That's what I've always wanted to do. And a lot of people tell me I just got to focus on one thing. The one thing I'm going to focus on is selective breeding and ecological gardening, ecological farming. It is one thing. It is one thing. It just incorporates one application across many things, is what Samantha just said. And I would agree with that. Like, that's the thing, is I've always been a permaculture person, and mushroom farming is not very permaculture as far as it goes, but it can be. And it makes me really interested in this concept of industrial permaculture, right? Or taking a lot of this commodity farming infrastructure and, bringing your waste products to where they're actually going to be used better and better. There's always been kind of an attempt to do that, but I think we're about to see an explosion in that. I couldn't seem to keep my cigar lit. Well, guys, it seems that the questions are done, and we've already done the garden walkthrough again. So, and it seems like people are already bailing on the stream because they know I'm going bye-bye. So, it is supper time. I see a plate of food over there waiting for me. I'm going to finish my cigar, close up the garden, get these peppers in, get these lotus seeds water changed out, and then I'm going to go to bed early because I worked my patootie off today. So, the Cordyceps class has been extended a week back, so if you want to get on the Cordyceps class, get on that. We're going to have a guest professor with us, a guest teacher, and it's going to be a killer class. This is going to be my first time doing it this way, and it's cool because I'm going to show my production technologies that I have for liquid culture, which can really help make or break Cordyceps farm. Excuse me. And then we're going to have someone who is far more experienced with Cordyceps come in and teach the other half of the class. So, going to be killer. You should totally sign up. I highly recommend it. If you've done a mentorship with me before, let me know, and we'll do a discount for all of our previous mentees, so they can come in and get in cheaper to see a lot of the new stuff that we're doing. Also, for you guys, I've got I'll be doing Discord talks again. It looks like on Tuesday evenings. So Tuesday evenings, I will be doing about an hour or so on Discord, where I am all yours, and you can ask questions in secret only with the Discord members, which are all people who have proven to be able to keep their mouth shut. So, so if you've got stuff you want to ask, that's a little bit, more. It's a much freer environment in the Discord, I'll say. So. But yeah, looks like I'm not sure if it's Tuesdays or Mondays yet, but I think it'll be Tuesdays. And what else, Samantha? Is there anything else I can plug product-wise? What do we got excess of that can ship? Like, do we have excess of anything? I know right now the spring. Not grain spawn. I know not grain spawn. Mother of pearl liquid culture. We got a lot of mother of pearl liquid culture coming down there. That's ready to ship like almost immediately.
We just pulled mother of pearl, just pulled KBO.
Yep, just pulled mother of pearl, king blue oyster.
I will say that I don't think a lot of people realize that we have over 600 strains in the library, and there's not a feasible way for us to have all 600 strains in production or all in the perfect timing to know when you're going to order to ship it. And so I think people get a little confused whenever they go on the website. We have some that have some of the listings that have inventory. That has now shut all the.
It's definitely a mess right now.
Because people will order and then they'll switch, and then I can't go and retroactively. So it's just a hot mess. But what I would like to do is seasonally, there's always a seasonal demand. And something that we've noticed over the past 5 years is on the website. We've used the analytics to kind of track, trying to see and project who is going to order what when. And that has a little bit of reliability, but we've noticed that it seems to be in very categorical sections, like people who are new that want to buy a little bit of everything just to bolster their library, and people that are tried and true that have been there for a very long time and they want something weird and unique. So just all of this is to say is that MOP is very popular, Mother of Pearl is very popular, King Blue is very popular. Almost all of the Enochians
MOP is one of
popular.
MOP is one of our best summer strains.
All of those are almost always going to be in stock. The only reason why they wouldn't be is because they're so popular. We're right in the middle of as another grow out.
When I order, it's all over the place.
Yes,
yeah, it
and
is.
that is the thing is we're trying to create consistency, but we are also kind of in that section of, again, it's it is all over the place. There's no other way to say it. It just is. And so there's times when you'll order and I'll have it out the next day. There's times when you'll order and then I'll have to split the order in half, which costs more shipping. And with everything with oil and all of that going on, I don't know that we can continue that. So it's just.
In fact, I'm trying to hurry up. I'm having a trouble sourcing my tilapia this year because the weather's been so rough down in Florida that they've frozen over stuff. And so I'm like, shoot, I want to get my shipments in before all the oil shortage causes shipping prices to skyrocket. So I'm trying to get everything in that I can possibly get in right now. So
and then demand fluctuates.
So sad that little boy poplar isn't popular. It beats AA. Really? I'm glad to hear that.
That's AA.
I forgot the name of the. I forgot what it stands for. It's a black poplar strain.
Oh.
Harvest Green Farms. Do you have pictures of? I don't think I have pictures of Dyson Sphere. I've got the wild one, but when we switched over to the new website,
pictures of it on the website.
there are.
Yeah.
Of the wild one, or of it in the grow room.
Of it in the grow room.
Of it in the grow room. Okay. So Dyson Sphere is about the most round one. That's why we named it Dyson Sphere, is because it's literally just like the most spherical sphere lion's mane that we've ever come across. And I order not seasonally, not predictably. I order everything or anything or some weird. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the way to do it. And I love that. That's what I wanted to be the Baker Creek of fungi, but it's a little difficult. It's a logistical nightmare
And
to
Jacob's
keep
really
all of the
interesting
strains.
too, because being where you're located, Jacob, like there have been instances where Andrew and I have had to ship things multiple times,
Yep.
and people have said, "Well, I've not received my order." And we'll have the tracking number, it's been delivered. And then some people
Yeah.
are like, well, you're just collecting the insurance money. You can't collect the insurance money on a lost package if it's been proven to be delivered. So it's just kind of, it's one of those things too, that we can do everything right. And then we'll still have to go back. And because Andrew and I, we care, we will oftentimes try our best to go in, and it may not be fast, but we will get it. To go back and redo the whole shipment and try our best to get it to you.
Yeah, Harvest Green, I highly recommend Wolf's Bloom, which came from our friend Jake Wolves here from Mongolia. We have Comb Tooth is it's probably my favorite Hericium of all time. It's just the regular old Comb Tooth. And then Tribbles is my favorite, like all around strain that I've bred. And then Elderwood is nice just because Elderwood's a good producer, but it's also from the old growth forest. So I don't know. I kind of just have a romantic feeling for it. But Elderwood's just a good producer of good quality lion's mane. Little Boy Poplar has beaten AA from CNS. That's main cap and stem. In terms of first flush and total yields, AA is certainly faster and consistent, but it doesn't beat it. Well, I mean, I wonder how much faster. If it's a few days faster, that's not that big of a deal. If it's weeks faster, I actually have AA by CNS, which I think is from Mycopia. Don't quote me on that. I think it's from Mycopia in Europe, and I plan to breed those together to see if I can get a little bit more of the speed, but I'm afraid that the quality, you find this a lot with strains, there are strains that grow slower and produce better quality, and then when you push the speed, the quality goes down. And that's something I'm trying to overcome, but I don't really know. Is Rocky Top not that popular as well? Rocky Top it's weird. It's like a niche. It's got a niche fan base, but a lot of people love it because it produces. Mortua likes it, yeah. In the Discord, but like Rocky Top, where it's polyphenotypic and can produce white or brown or blue, at times, that throws some people off, and some people don't like that. And then some people want like ultra consistent, and then some people build flex. I like to work with people that build flexibility in their system. Don't get me wrong, I'll work with everybody. I work with anybody that'll work with me. But yeah, it's one of those things where Rocky Top to me is nice, especially for like CSA and farmers markets, and even the restaurants, because the quality didn't really change. It was just kind of the coloration and a little bit of that kind of stuff. I'm running Little Boy Poplar right now, still incubating, but excited to see it grow. My first time growing poplar, dude. Congratulations on getting that as your first time growing it, getting started on that. Black poplar is one of my favorite mushrooms. It disappoints me that it's not more popular with chefs. I think it could be. I really would like to see a black poplar mushroom farm. I really think that you could do that. You could grow Fat Man, you could grow AA, you could grow Little Boy Poplar, and there's 3 wildly different phenotypes of black poplar, and it's one of the most like beefy tasting mushrooms in my opinion.
We should try to breed toward a thinner stem and a thicker cap.
We can try that. I mean, I'll try for a bunch of different
I
things.
think that if we had a larger, which that was kind of Fat Man.
If you're talking about the split rocky top where you had it grow out half white on the cluster and half blue, then I think then I definitely saw that. I'm loving Rocky Top, amazing strain. I should have listened to you when you said just grow a Rocky Top instead of King Blue. Yeah, if you're having any sort of bacterial blotch issues or something like that, King Blue is a more sensitive bacterial blotch, but Rocky Top just seems to shrug it off like crazy. But it still has a thicker texture to it, which is nice, and the stems are still a good quality texture.
And Deep Blue Sea is really resistant.
Deep Blue Sea is super
Wasp as
resistant.
well.
Yeah.
I've got pictures of it, and Jackie's the one that bred that one.
Yes, he is. Jackie Crawford.
It was his first one that while he was working with us, he ever bred. He was so excited too.
Yeah, he bred Deep Blue Sea was his first real big hit, and then there was another one he bred.
I think it died in water egg.
Oh, I think you're right. I think that one died in water egg. That was a cool one though too.
I wish we could have saved that one.
That would have been nice. All right, y'all. I'm closing it down 4 minutes early.
Yeah, it's about to storm.
It is about to storm. I actually felt a couple of raindrops on me, so I'm gonna get this stuff closed up before the storm hits. Man, I'm glad to be back to farming and not just supply. I have missed farming. I have missed having people come into the shop and have just like local community and be a part of that food network. So, and this could be cool because I get to grow what I'm selling, which I like. So thank you all very much. I really appreciate you guys making this a great stream. As always, I really had a great time. And anytime I get to just be out in the garden is a great time. And then I get to add good company to it. So thank you all very much. Sign up for classes. Don't forget to check out Dr. Solarian's Elixir of Mycelial Mastery. That is some of the best stuff I've ever worked. I've even started putting it to use in some of the aquaculture for live foods. And I'm having some really good results with that. So that's more to come later on that, guys. Y'all have a good one. Keep spawning culture, y'all.
Step into the lab, lights hum like a starship dock. Pine logs stacked like data banks in a cube block. I calibrate climates while the timeline bends. Writing fungal code loops only mycelium sends. I navigate ecosystems with instinctive precision. Every egg a plate a portal to a parallel vision. Mentorships spin up like reactors at dawn. You want a culture revolution, then you better respond. We fracture the boundaries of the natural order. Make Reishi bloom sideways like a space-time border. I'm an Appalachian alchemist, wild ridge born with a druid's intuition and a mind full of spores.
Keep spawning culture.
We're the network underfoot, the unseen sculpture.